And so, we're back on the road again. Now, if you don't know Roadwarden, you're gonna know it now. This is one of my favorite games that really did kind of appear out of nowhere. This game is absolutely amazing. It is an interactive story adventure. Okay, this is probably one of the best text-based games I've played in a very long time. Most text-based games are awful. They're boring. They're very, very boring. There's not really much going on. They're kind of very painful to play as well. This one, though, this one is a masterpiece. There is so much to the story, so much that you're able to do, so much that you're able to see, that I'm surprised that they even made all this possible. The amount of writing that has gone into this game has been amazing. It must have been a monumental task. Every time you start the game, you also get a little quote. To invite a dragon is to be careless. That's what that means. Now, we played this for a while. Again, if you haven't seen if you're not caught up on the story, please do check out the playthroughs. I'm not calling them VODs anymore, but the lightly edited playthroughs on the second channel, links in my profile below. If you're watching the VOD, then hello, welcome. And when we stopped last time, we got a number of quests and things and information. We helped the scavenger make it all the way to the pelt. And we are also now on the quest for, I believe, Den. What's the name of the place? Let me just double check. For Howler's Dell, okay? We need to figure out what the rest of the lands are doing in order to present them the Hovlevin trade contract, and in order for them to even want to accept it. We have to be the one to unite the lands. We ourselves are also a road warden, so we ourselves have a lot of duties and things that we need to do for the rest of the world around us. We also found some interesting curiosities. For instance, a village, ruined, burnt down, it seems like. Or not burnt down, just seems to be dead. All life ceased to exist there. Everybody's gone. We have no clue why. But staying in it for too long seems to invite death to our very body itself. Our very being seems to reject our existence there. We vomit if we stay there for too long. A tree, a warden, something called a beholder. It lives and it takes care of the lands around us and the people who live in these lands. A druid, an elder who lives down by himself with his wife, tending to a garden. There's so much more to explore. We also know now what lies to the east. To the east is a treacherous land, a land of danger and unknown. One that the druid, the warden, told us not to go to, not to disturb, because it's not our place to be there. If we are to believe nature, that is nature's rightful place, not one for a person, not one for a man like us. And when we left, those were all the things that we had started, that we had understood. We know so much about this world, yet we know so little about the world too. We still need to find a way through all of this mess. We also need to find the old Roadwarden who passed away. Or we think passed away. Everybody thinks they passed away. The lands in the north know of him. And Howler's Dell was one of them, but it seems he left them on bad terms too. So we're gonna need to explore a lot here. This game is very interesting because you have a number of stats that you have to take care of, okay? Number of choices you can make, things you can do. And you need to be wary of what you have and what you can and can't do. Because you have very limited amounts of everything. Of food, of shelter, of water, of money, of even things that'll keep you alive. The one wrong move can kill you. And if you don't have the right tools to make it through, then you're going to be doomed. Now, you may remember in the pre-stream that I was doing a couple of interesting things here. I was adding some items to my person. See if I can find them. My axe. Oh god, that's a giant axe. Jesus Christ. Let me down. Okay, that's too small of an axe. My axe. And my bag. My leather bag. Oh god. Okay. 2 important pieces of equipment for a road warden. 2 very important pieces of equipment for a road warden. My axe and my bag. We can. This just looks funny. It looks like I'm just dual wielding like an axe in the bag. Wait, let me put the bag over here actually. Why is the bag so small? There we go. Okay. So now we're fully equipped for the road ahead. I'm on the road again. If you've never seen Shrek, for the love of God, please watch it. It's so fucking funny. It's when Donkey keeps on singing the song, I'm on the road again, and then Shrek's like, Donkey, what did I tell you about singing? Anyways, you have equipment, you have things that you need to take care of, you also have skills. Check out here. We're a scholar. You have 3 choices of classes. You can either be a wizard, a warrior, or a scholar. I chose to be a scholar so that I can perform alchemy, though it seems poorly and only rarely, and I have education. I can read. And I know more than just the language that is the common tongue here. I seem to also know sometimes ancient script as well. At least that's what it told me. You only have a limited amount of time in this game. We have 40 days, though I think 38 days, before our mission is over and we either fail or we win the main mission of the Hovlin trade contract. You only have a limited number of hours in a day as well. From what we've seen, roughly around 14 hours and a half, because it takes you some time to wake up, to eat, to take care of your horse. And I'm assuming that changes depending on this situation. If you sleep out on the road, maybe you don't need as much time to wake up in the morning, but we haven't needed to do that yet. We've always slept inside a tavern for safety. You need to care about your appearance, how much food you have, how much energy you have, how good your armor is. And our weapon is just a plain axe. We're just a scholar after all, we're not a fighter. Since time is about to run out, we have just a moment to check out our fish trap. Or at least I wanted to, but something's happened here. You may remember last time when we were doing this, we had to rescue a scavenger, and we came through the same path. We fought a number of griffins, but we were able to survive. The horse was fine, we left unscathed, and my armor saved me. You pass the area where you and the scavenger encounter griffins, but the only thing left of them is a few puddles of blood. Nothing goes to waste in the wilderness. Their bodies are gone. Here in this village, there's ruins. There's one that seems to invite sickness to our bones, to our body. We set up a fish trap, actually, in the river, where we're able to get fish constantly, every single time. We still know what happened here, mind you. We need to figure out what's going on here. But we still have no way to investigate any way through other than going north. We could seek shelter here, but there are goblins here. I believe there are either goblins or trolls, something here. Wild animals as well. Apes. Monkeys, I think they're called. They're called something. This game is a very extensive bestiary. Apes and monkeys. They had a very specific name. I think runners, howlers is what they are. They have a little nest over here in the top left. So if we stay, they will eat us alive. So we can never stay here. We can only ever pass through. We can't collect our fish yet. So we're going to start the day off with a nice time at the end. We get off our horse and we enter the inn. And Pyros was a scavenger who we saved. I think he's still getting ready to go, and so he said tomorrow he'll have something for us. So let's just go straight to bed. That's all I need. Can I sleep? How do I sleep? Oh, it's not time yet. 1 hour. Wait, no, here we go. Sleep. I keep forgetting. Sorry. There's different buttons for everything. It's not based on where you are. It's based on like the context of where you are. Certain buttons up here. Now, we don't have many dragons, as they're called. Dragons are the currency here. It's coins shaped of a dragon's bone, okay? They cut out circular coins out of a dragon's bone. We only have 4. But every day, we're a gambling god, okay? We play Gamba. We can easily double our money every single time if we gamble with the guards here and rinse them of their money, okay? So we're always gonna sleep in a room. We get a nice clove to brush our teeth. We get a wonderful breakfast to fill our stomach. And we get a wash tub so that we always look good. Looking good is very important. You have to look good in this game, otherwise people won't want to talk to you. You may notice that if you sleep on a bench and you don't necessarily get a good sleep, you get really hungry, and your appearance suffers. You look much more ragged, haggard. Nobody wants to talk to you if you look like a common beggar. We're a Roadwarden. We have an appearance to keep. I rent a room. Like most people, you wake in the middle of almost every night. Before your second sleep comes, you spend an hour or two taking care of your belongings. Shell. They call the body here the shell, because the shell exists to house the soul. Some people spend this time with their friends, families, or lovers, but your routine is different. If you don't have to take care of essential tasks, And again, the game offers you choices. You have a number of things that you can do. We have a pet horse named Yogi, who is the name of my actual dog. She's a very cute little puppy, little ugly little shit. I love her so much. But we can take any number of actions, and they all have very different consequences. Okay? But this, I think, is just a bit of a routine thing. There's sometimes choices that help us define the world that we live in, and also the character that we play. Because again, nothing in this world is necessarily set in stone. While some major details are set in stone, let me show you. Howlers, there's still more to learn about them. Groups and places, what is Hovlivin? A lot here, but still not enough details sometimes. Half of these details we were able to fill in. I was able to say that they had a monastery. I was able to say that they were struggling ever since the sudden invasion. I was able to say that the war turned the backwood corner into a home of thugs. I was able to define the world that we live in, to define myself and my beliefs too. I'm a pagan. I'm a pagan who believes in the path of my ancestors. I'm incredibly good at gambling, and I live for the people. I want to help the local villages and make this region safer. We can define things about this world, and I think that's what this is telling us. I think that's what this choice is. This is a choice not of what to do necessarily, but mainly the real effect of it is to define who we are as a person living in this world, as a Roadwarden. Let's see your options. I stretch my muscles. I can work them out a bit. I can also spend some time outside observing stars and listening to the wild creatures. I can check on Yogi, my pet horse, but also my pet dog in real life. I can brush it, make sure it has everything that it needs. I may also instead pray to my pagan gods and think about my dreams, my goals in life, my desire to help the world. I may even try to stay where I am, trying to ease my soul and focus on my breathing. I may feel anxious for whatever reason, waking up in the middle of the night. Our characters thus far, due to a number of good and bad choices, demonstrates a distance from the world around them, demonstrates a willingness to be vulnerable, but perhaps a bit too vulnerable. Is a bit easy to walk over, yet still keeps their moral compass strong, tries their best to act within their values, even if it isn't always easy and even if it requires some sacrifice either from myself or from the world around me. So, we're kind of a little bitch, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. I made a lot of bad choices, but we're gonna fix that this time. We're gonna be a bit stronger. Now, I do want to take care of Yogi, not just because she's my real dog, but also because the game mentioned this at the very, very start. You need to take care of your horse. You need it to survive as much as it needs you. We couldn't have survived the Griffin encounter had I not had Yogi. So if Yogi ever dies, I'm doomed. Which, mind you, the old Roadwarden had a salamander. He had a goddamn Komodo dragon that was like 8 feet tall that he rode on to do his work. For some reason, Hovlivin, when they hired me, only gave me a horse. I may have gotten scammed. I check on Yogi. It's a good time to brush it to make sure it has everything it needs. I actually got completely scammed. I'm like, he's clearly getting a much better salary than Emery. The small room was quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. Take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window, and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate, bearing an aromatic breakfast. A fresh pie with deer meat, onions, and coriander. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks if you need anything. And we know the innkeeper. His name is Iason. He came here with his band of hunters. You step outside. Yogi is moving around slowly, as far as its cord allows. At this hour, the armor's workshop is closed. I do want to see what Pyros is doing. He's sitting at a table eating something from a bowl. I approach Pyros. Road, sir. Need anything? Enjoying your stay? Oh, it's not bad here. Not at all. They bought what I could sell, but the hunters want my entire pouch for getting me south. We've agreed to a lower price, but they just won't drop whatever it is they're doing to escort me. I don't care. They'll wait for a couple days, do some chores for the innkeep, rest from the forests. Once the hunters are done with their plans, we'll move out. He scratches his cheek and beard and finally sighs. But I do feel like I've eaten Chitral. When I landed here, I had my pile of bundles and trinkets, and now I'm starting with nothing. Again. I should have listened to the warnings. This land belongs to no man. What the pagans know. What the druids know. Let's go to the well and wash ourselves. Yogi's just wandering around with its cord. It's pretty bored. So we're gonna ride the Yogi after. The well lets us wash, but it seems like we're as clean as we can be, so let's just walk away. Let's walk away, pretend like we didn't do anything. There's nothing else to do, the shops are closed, and we don't even want to be here anyways. Let's consult our journal, because it's been a while since I played this, and I completely forgot quests. We have a large number of quests, okay? Again, we need to figure out what her neighbors are doing. The mayor of Hallisdale, Theus, wants to know what's going on in the lands north of her, her neighbors, her nearest neighbors. Hallisdale is strong, it's prosperous, but not strong enough, I assume, to hold off everything else. Glaucia, a local band, it seems like a brigands, seems to cause trouble in this area. We need to figure out exactly what she's doing, and Theus won't answer our questions. The innkeeper of the North Pelt. Is it the North Pelt? I think it is, right? No, the hunters from the Pelt. Wait, is it the hunters from the Pelt? I forget his inn name. He wanted us to find out and gather support against her, but Theus doesn't want to play. So we now need to go to every other village around her to see if they're willing to play and to see what she's been up to. Personally, as a Roadwarden, I don't trust Theus. Something's fishy about her. We are not allowed to ask her about where she got all of her money. She answers very poorly to that. And she wants us to spy on her nearest neighbors. She has this weird air of wanting to help people. She is apparently well respected in her town. But still, she doesn't seem to want to play nice with strangers like me. Which, to be fair, I'm just a stranger. We know about the Eastern Path. We know a secret in the Eastern Path. We have a key through the secret Eastern Path. But the druid the old hermit told us not to go through it. As I said before, we're trying to find the old Roadwarden, which we kind of have information about. He's somewhere in the north. And we know that he bought things within Hallisdale, went forward, and also got one of the noblemen's in Hallisdale's daughters killed, unfortunately. We have a lot to do here. Now, we're gonna go west of Hallisdale because there's a gate over here that I believe we can ask him something. A gate to whatever land, I don't really know. But we might as well explore. But the path gets greener and meanders between treacherous precipices. You ride slowly, passing by birds and ibexes, but in the distance you spot circling harpies. Below you, a roaming mountain cat pursuing a mufflin, a sheep, effectively a sheep. You take a sip from your water skin. The air here is a bit dry. Let's hope that the echo of hooves won't reach any larger beasts. The path leads you down again to a small, moist valley, impenetrable for a rider. The thicket is made of thorny shrubs, tall grasses, and the weak fallen boughs that nourish mosses and mushrooms. You examine the remnants of the path covered with greenish petals. Without the roots and with a fresh layer of pebbles, it may still be restored. You look behind you. The road is clear, no ambushes so far. But if you were to clear this place, it'd be better to do soon. It'll only get denser with the passage of days. Okay, so we have a number of choices here. There's a path through. We don't have any potions that can get us through because we weren't able to craft any potions. The monastery inside Hallisdale didn't let us in because we're untrusted. We still need to do things for them to trust us to let us through. But we don't have any more available quests. We can only do so much. We need to somehow get through this because one of the places that we need to go to, one of the northern villages is beyond here. But the road is, while clear, it's also kind of ruined. We have to restore it somehow. We can either waste time or waste energy. Energy is very important, and we don't know what lies ahead, right? We've never been in this land. We don't know the dangers here. A harpy could come out of nowhere and pick up Yogi or me, and I may need the energy to fight. I think we should instead sacrifice our time. We don't have many days left. We're only 37 days. But still, we have 37 days. 2 hours shouldn't be a huge dent in the entire process. I should be done in 2 hours or so. Your muscles, not used to such tiring work, grow tired quickly, so take a few short breaks, avoiding the thorns and dirty water. When it comes to pushing inside the bows, you breathe heavily, but you need only enough space to let your palfrey get through. I've lost a bit of appearance trying to clear this place. Again, I got dirty while doing it. I also lost some nourishment doing it. I have a lot of food though, so I don't really care. I have like 5 rations. That's a lot of food. Let's just continue. Maybe the animals will start to roam this place again, beating the path. Let's see what lies beyond here. What is this? And again, this game has wonderful visuals. All the visuals match exactly what it is here, okay? You reach a convenient mountain pass, with crags smoothed out by centuries of rain and wind. The sun warms up both the vegetation and the beaten road, and the only beasts you spot are loud rooks. And glancing at you from the rocks and branches, what are rooks? This game is a very large bestiary that we can take a look at of everything that we have, of everything that we face. And it's very important that we do because the actions that we take are going to be dependent on how much we know about these things. For instance, there's nothing about rooks, so we're kind of boned. If we ever had to fight a rook, we're absolutely boned because I have no clue what it is. Clearing the rock slide would take hours of work, and a large group of people, while forcing Yogi to climb up and down, could break its legs. I don't want to do either. We don't have enough people anyways. Let's dismount and look around. You climb up the rocks, having plenty of spots to rest your hands. Most of them won't even move an inch. As you get close to a small dead tree, you notice something odd among the stones. Pieces of old fabric, completely covered with tunic, with the mold, most likely the remains of a tunic. This may be Asterion, the old Roadwarden's tunic. We may have to figure out how to come back here eventually, but I think we're going to have to convince Hallersdell to trust us and to help us. Which, it's going to be difficult. They do not like us at all. And let's see what quests we have for them. I don't think we have any really good ones. Yeah, we have nothing. We've absolutely nothing. The most that we have is being able to spy on people. We just have to help theirs. When you make the options like this too, it's a way of saying you have nothing left to do. All I can do now is turn back. Now, we're not going to turn all the way back, right? We have time. 9 hours. Traveling around, going north of Hallersdell will only take roughly an hour. The road is beaten and free of litter. You notice paths between the fruit-bearing trees on your right. And soon after that, you ride alongside the vast fields of broad beans, almost ready for the second harvest of the summer. Then there are the green hemp plants, taller than you are, waiting for a scythe, a sickle. And a small little village here. That's weird. The locals keep the beasts at a distance, I guess. Oh, never mind. That was Hallersdell, sorry. You may also notice this fog of war on the map. Not just when we travel, but also in that previous map that you saw, pieces of the area around Hallersdell were blanked out. You actually get to discover more of the land as you make certain choices, as you will go around and actually be there in those places. Yogi's hooves thump loudly on the beaten track. The green bushes, shrubs, and trees prove that the soil here is fertile, yet the plants don't overgrow the road. These crossroads must be busy at times, maybe even patrolled. In the distant west, you see the mountain peaks dividing the lowlands from the ocean. The road east leads towards the hills, behind which there are unusually tall, dark trees. It's a dense forest in the north, but you can hear the croaking of toads. The last path is already known to you. 4 signs, each leading to a different place. You're surrounded by 4 signposts, all of which seem to be made from the same type of wood, now covered in moss and fungi, yet the pictures and letters that cover the nailed boards are nothing alike. Let's go in the compass direction, clockwise. Let's check out all the signposts. Let's check out the west of the signpost. There's 2 planks attached to a single post, both of them nailed with rusty steel, so it's been here for a long time. This is an old signpost for a place that has existed here for a long time. We're going into now established land, okay? Land that is not our own, that is not familiar to us. Again, we're a Roadwarden from Hovleven. We grew up in a monastery. We have no clue what's here. These places have been here longer than we have. Perhaps even longer than our family, than our lineage. The lowest sign is divided into 2 halves. The left edge is engraved with 4 simple shapes. Squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. The other edge bears 2 engraved piles, one of them made of horizontal rectangles, the other of inexact circles. The letters between these 2 piles say stone. The upper plank is covered with a white word monastery, though it's divided in half. Again, Literacy is not a common skill. This is a medieval fantasy setting. Not everybody can read, only the richest or the most educated can. Though it's right below it is an engraved vertical rectangle with an hourglass inside it. Huh. The hourglass must mean how long it takes to get there. We know about a monastery because if you were here last time, if you weren't, I'm going to explain it to you anyways. Because why not? The old hermit mentioned a monastery of druids. If I can find it. They're really close to one of the druid towns as well. But the monastery has a number of priests and druids there that we can talk to. They're tied to the hermit down here, who takes care of the beholder tree. Well, this tree that needs a sacrifice that we haven't unlocked the right word to say to it. And I'll show you what that means later, okay? So we should probably visit the monastery, but let's see all the signposts first. Eastern signpost. The long plank, attached with rusted iron nails, is almost empty. It bears no words, only a single picture, painted with great care. Portrays a city-like gate with a watchtower to its left and right, and a couple of small conifers growing beside and partially behind the towers. To the east... Now, one of our quests for Howler's Dell was for us to spy on the places around us. It's not the White Marches, because that's beyond the Western Monastery. That's also the place with the Necromancer and the Druids. It could be Old Pagos, right? Because Old Pagos, no, but in the Western Village, the locals exchanged their stone for supplies. That's why the Western sign had the icon of a stone there, because Old Pagos trades in stone. This is also, I think, where the coast was, I believe. It could no, but this is also the heart of forest to the west. It could be the Gale Rocks. They're a fishing village. Okay, so the coast is somewhere near the north, or the east. But they could make some money. But no, they're to the north, not the east. So this is a new place actually. We've never been there. Huh. We don't know what's actually on the east then. We only know about the north and the west. And the south is, of course, Howler's Dell. I approach the southern signpost. It's covered with green, blue, and white paints that portray simple squares of roof-like lines hanging above them. Each square has a large letter inside it, and together they spell Howler's Dell. Both the pictures and the letters are not too old. They recently came into wealth. And it's, you can tell it from the town. It's fairly new, all things considered. Still wooden walls. There are no other words or marks. The plank was attached with a set of wooden wedges. Let's check out the northern signpost. It's attached with nails made of pointy, carved bones and divided into 3 sections covered with small engravings. The part on the left has 3 large squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. No other pictures or words. The one in the middle has only 1 square, but also a simple, horizontal symbol of a fish and a short word beneath it. It spells salt. That's the fishing village. The image on the right has 2 roof squares, but also 2 other images which you recognize easily. A deer and a standing barrel. An inn. A hunter's inn. Now we have a number of choices. We only know so far about the west, the south, and the north, right? There's an unknown area that I think we should maybe check out in the east. However, it may be risky too. We don't know what lies to the east. We don't really know what kind of people are there. We know the danger to the west is necromancers, druids, and pagans. But I'm a pagan, so I may be able to fit in just fine, and I'm a scholar. I may be able to converse with the necromancer. Which again, necromancy in this world isn't necessarily good or bad. It's more practical. You raise dead bodies in order to do work for you on farms. It's basically like shitty AI. Really shitty AI. To the north is a fishing village, but we're dirty anyways. We'd have to stay in an inn regardless. And there's still too much time for us to stay in an inn. I think we travel west, just so we know what the monastery is like, so we can try to get some answers about the beholder tree. I return to the western signpost. Oh wait, we just go. I go west. And again, this may take us above the rock slide, hopefully. You cross a clean, shallow, yet wide creek that runs south, and follow the uphill path squeezed between the hills and the lush forest. You spend a good couple of minutes passing a haunting meadow, filled with dozens, maybe 100 cut-down trees, now overgrown by bushes and grass. You can't think of another time when you've seen a clearing of such a size. Seems dangerous. If this goes on, the animals will join forces to strike down whoever is responsible for this. Lore-wise, If you mess with nature for too long, nature will strike back. It seems a phenomenon, at least only here in the south, that if you strike back against nature, all the animals and creatures in it will band together to kill you. It seems that that's what happened to the ruined village, but whatever cursed it, we still don't know. Why the curse is there, we still don't know. We may also instead praise them. The locals are surely ambitious. We wonder how far they can push it. This seems to be a defining choice. What kind of a person are we? Do we respect nature? Do we fear it? Or do we believe in the ingenuity of people? Do we believe in our tenacity as a species? I think it's better for us to respect it. We may need to behold its power, and I think having a healthy and learning a healthy level of respect and fear for it will give us a slight advantage in any problems that we're going to face moving forward. That was a terrible sentence. I'm sorry. Once the clearing ends and turns into a corridor of trees and hills, you stop your horse. There's a monster in the middle of the road, reaching out with his long arms to grab and devour fruits and leaves from tree crowns, chewing them without haste. It's standing on its hind legs and leaning on a thick tail. As there isn't much hair on its gray skin, you see its impressive muscles. The beast is 3 times the size of a human, and while each move it makes is slow, its long claws and ease with which it breaks one of the branches makes you think that a single swing would be enough for it to pierce through your jacket. Or, just as likely, they will simply break your bones and send you into the air. Oh crap. We're in a bad spot here. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. I don't know about pebblers. What's a pebbler? Pebblers. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. That's funny. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. What's a pebbler? Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. Oh god, that's so useless. That's so useless for us. That's actually so useless for us. Also, sorry. I forgot that I was boiling the water. I have to go make my coffee. I'm so sorry. I was supposed to do this before I started, but I completely forgot. I'll be back in like 3 minutes. Sorry. Hello, VOD viewers. You almost missed out on a weird discussion. I think there's someone living in my attic. Because seriously, sometimes I hear noises and like pipes running upstairs, and I go upstairs and there's no evidence of anybody like doing anything. It's the grudge hiding in the bathtub, or you have amnesia. It could be either or. Could also have schizophrenia. I don't know. But I keep hearing noises from upstairs. Like there could be somebody upstairs, like just like chilling out and like waiting for me and like trying to like use the stuff for like free. Again, I have no clue what's inside the attic. I'm scared to go up there. Well, if I have amnesia, I'll forget that this was a problem tomorrow. So we'll be okay. Now, what do we know about what are we doing? Ah, yes. Hey, Michael from Vsauce here. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. Please vlog it if you go up. Yo, I actually will. You know what? Fine. I'll vlog it on my phone. I better get at least 100 views on that. You know, at least 1,000. Why am I short-selling myself? At least 1 million, right? I died in real life. Oh my god. And then like in parentheses, there's a ghost, a real ghost. Face reveal when? Never face reveal. And what do you mean? Actually, this is my face. Look. I have an axe. I have my axe and my leather bag. We're going on an adventure. This is me. I'm holding these in my hand with my 2 potions. Now, what do we know about pebblers here? What was it? Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. Maybe the most infamous sources of nuisance for farmers across the Dragonwoods. They can get as big as a house. What? What do you mean? What? And maybe just as heavy? From time to time, pebblers look for some unusual tastes, like meat or honey, which can encourage them to bother human settlements. Once you get used to a specific spot, like an unfenced farm or forest garden, getting rid of them may be a huge endeavor. I mean, yeah, of course it's a huge endeavor. They're the size of a house. Do you know how big a house is? Even like a small, shitty house, it's still a big-ass house. Again, houses must at least be the size of a person times 1.5 to be able to fit everything. Plus the support frames, okay? A house is massive. Of course it's a huge task. What the? There are but a few blades able to cut through the thick skin and durable bones. And a single mistake will put them into a furious charge and then encourage them to look for human dwellings to tear down in revenge. Yo! You've heard that spitting troll urine could keep pebblers away from an area, at least for some time. You weren't here, but I was able to milk a troll for its urine. Yep, I milked it. Nah, I didn't milk it. The scavenger did. Pyros. Pyros somehow milked a troll for his urine, and he gave me a jar of it. And I was thinking of either taking that or the money, but I was like, the money is what... We forgot to gamble. Oh my god, we forgot to gamble at the inn. Shit! How much money do I have? I'm poor! Jesus Christ, I'm poor. But yeah, so he gave us a jar of urine. Because he was using that to survive. So now we're going to use it on this guy. Once you get used to an unfenced farmer for his garden, getting rid of them can be a huge... I feel like... I feel like there's deja vu. I feel like... What? Didn't I just read that? Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebbles. Once you get used to an unfenced farm, or forest garden, getting rid of them may be a huge endeavor. Yes, tear down the rest. The beast doesn't give you as much as a glance, but also doesn't move away. The best you can hope for is that it's going to walk away on its own. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later. No, wait, but facing it in a fight would end up badly? No, I have urine. Let me use pee. Oh, I see what's up. I need to pour this down here tomorrow. I need to pour it down here tomorrow. I could also use it actually on the ruined village, because the ruined village... What is happening to my model? Wait, 1 second. What the... Wait, it's like dying. Wait. Wake up, buddy. Wake up, it's okay. I mean, it's me. Look, I'm alive. So I have to come back tomorrow, pour it on the ground. I could also use it in the ruins, because the ruins have goblins. They have like a goblin hideout. But I could also just like hire the people from the pelts to kill them. Facing it in the fight would end up badly. I return to the crossroads. So we can't go west. Not yet. West tomorrow, maybe the day after. North is a village. Let's take our chances and gamba south and east. Wait, sorry. We travel east. Oh boy. The corridor of leaves and grey rocks leads you to a gate, large enough for a wagon, held together by a wooden bar. The planks and rocks are covered with claw marks left by various monsters, but they weren't able to damage the wall as much as the passage of time and the piercing rains. A large man, covered in shadows, is observing you from the roof tower. His voice is hoarse, distressful. You lost? I don't know, you mug. Now, this is the first time that we see a dialogue option in this stream. If this is your first time seeing this game, let me explain. You can choose to respond in any different way. You have 5 different emotions that you can respond with, and sometimes you even get contextual actions available to you based on whatever you have and stuff. For instance, sometimes you may have a knowledge button that pops up, and I can be like, boom, fact check, you're wrong, and then they kill me because it's like, why would you want to fact check someone like live who has they have swords? Anyways, we can choose how to respond, okay? Depending on how we respond, we both set the pace for the conversation, who we are, and we also tell them who we are, and we tell them whether or not we're good or bad, okay? Now, this guy doesn't really trust us, so we do have to be careful here. Let's see what all the options have first, though. We could be friendly. I can introduce myself and say, good time to get to know each other. I think he would shoot me in the face with his crossbow, if I said this. We could be playful, use a joke or a witty comment. Better remember this mug, friend. It's going to stay around for a while. I'll introduce myself. He's going to take his crossbow and shoot me. We could be distance. We could hide our emotions. I could say, I'm Stick, the new Roadwarden. And you're the gatekeeper, I assume. This seems like the most neutral option. Again, we are a Roadwarden, but if they're distrustful of us now, will they trust us at all? Mind you, also, we don't know the reputation of a Roadwarden here. Okay? I thought Asterion, the previous Roadwarden, left a trail of goodwill that I could just follow in his wake. Instead, he got a very important daughter from Hallisdale murdered by goblins. He's run away with people's money. He's done all kinds of terrible things. He's lost out there. And he definitely doesn't seem to be helping people. He seems to be looking out for his own good. So if we say that I'm the new Roadwarden, and he's passed through this way from this gatekeeper, there's a very good chance that we're going to be in a big bit of trouble here, okay? Because I don't think Astarion went this way. You may recall, when we went over to the rock slide area west of Howler's Dell, there was bits of ripped fabric and like tunic there. There were fragments of a tunic there stuck to a tree that I think was Astarion's, because if you look at what we know about Astarion, he was wearing some decent armor. It wasn't plate, but it was something light. So this may be a problem. I could try to intimidate him, though I'm not very strong, I'm just a scholar. We can hint at a threat. I'm a Roadwarden. Let me through. I'll only ask once. We can also be vulnerable. We can be sad, tired, afraid, or hopeless. We can show a bit of a soft side. I explain who I am. I'm not looking for trouble, stranger. Can you open the gate for me? None of these options, as you can tell, are good. All of these options suck in some way. There is never a best choice option. There is only an option with a consequence that you're willing to take and a personality that you wish to project into the world. Now, just give me a moment to think about this as I sip my coffee and think about what exactly we should do here. He's distrustful. We don't really know him. I do want to necessarily say, oh, you know, let's get to know each other, because I do want to be cordial. But I also want to let him know, like, hey, I'm a Roadwarden. Like, who are you, right? But if he's distrustful, maybe it's better to be warm and friendly first. To reach out first, right? Again, the key to any good relationship, whether it's friends or a lover, a potential lover, is to reach out first. Be the person to take that risk. Not only do you demonstrate a level of, how do you say this? Forwardness, assertiveness, which can or can't be good. The better thing that you demonstrate is that you allow them the ability to react instead of having to act. You give them the easier option to work with. It's a psychology thing where it's like you kind of lower their guard by like sticking with some, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, fuck you. Let's be friendly. I introduce myself. Good time to get to know each other. Yeah, I've got naught but time. He chuckles weakly, leaning on the parapet. I heard no human voice in days. I'm armed, you know. He sits at a loaded crossbow. But I'm no enemy. Just on duty, guarding. Ye can hang around, but I've got no ale or water. He leaves the tower. He's wearing a black gambeson so ragged that it can't be fastened anymore. He does a story of claws, thorns, and improvised repairs. The hole in the man's hemp pants reveal a scraped knee. It's hard to tell his age through his exhausted, sleepy eyes. A short, unkempt beard and a bandage horizontally covering his ears, and a spot that used to be his nose. Oh, my God, his nose is gone. Jesus. There's clotted blood in his brown hair, and mud in his clothes and brown neck. Despite all this, he's of a huge shell, with wide shoulders and thick legs. He crouches, places his crossbow on the wall, and gives you a curious look. You're new to Warden. I'm pretty new. Or I can be new here, but I know what I'm doing. I hid myself because I thought it was hiding the oh my god, 1 second. Up here! There we go. I hid myself because I thought it was covering the text. So we have two options. We can either be, again, pretty distanced and just be like, yeah, pretty new. You know, be honest. Or we can either, I can't tell if I'm feigning that I have experience and that I know what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no clue. So this could be feigning, or this could be like us determining that our character now knows what to do. Because thus far, I just want you to know, we've made some pretty questionable choices in pretty questionable times. And I'm kind of a gambling addict, okay? Let's stick with, I'm pretty new. You chose a shit place then. This gate here. He places his hand on the brick as if to prove it exists. You're older than me. All there, he points behind him. Wilds and beasts. My tribe built this place to keep them away from us. And us from them. He scratches the bandage on his cheek. Name's Quintus, from Opagos. Been there? Not yet. So you don't know? It's west from here. Behind the crossroads, but it's touched by sickness. A what? Sickness? We used to send one soul here every morning and escort them back before nightfall. But some days ago, no one came for me. I spent a night here, sneaking wolf shits almost got me. Picks up an almost empty water from behind the parapet, takes a sip. I went home by myself only to learn about the sick. I've been here ever since. Oh, crap. Okay. That's, not good. Old Pagos, as you might recall, is one of the couple places we need to go and spy on. Old Pagos is one of the neighbors. And if to the west, Old Pagos behind the crossroads is touched by sickness, there's a problem. We know a couple things about this world already, right? If you mess with nature too much, nature strikes back. Nature in this place is not just a term, it's not just a categorization. It seems to be more of a thing, a being, a shared fabric, a hive mind that seems to exist that ties the entire world together. And if we, the humans, the people, try to fight back against it, you do so in knowing that you invite death to your place. We know that this is what happened to the ruined village over here. And when we were trying to come here, we were trying to move west to the rockslide. We came across a place that was being gutted, cut it down, all the trees being torn down, cut down. We know that these people are trying to expand heavily, that these towns are trying to get larger and larger. I think what happened, I think the plague is tied to whatever happened, well, whatever nature did. And that's a worrying thing. We know from the ruins that we pass by that the sickness causes you to vomit every couple hours. 1 to 2 hours, you will vomit. You vomit. You lose all of the food in your stomach. For me, that has tangible consequences. My character will no longer have energy to move around. I can't defend myself. Within the story, the context of the lore, it means that these people will never be able to survive. Never be able to grow strong enough to be a village. They'll soon be a graveyard. What do you know about the plague? Not much. It kills. That's all there is to know. My tribe's smart, locking the gates. The right gave them strength. The right being the god of this world. Wait, was it the god or scripture? Let's see. I don't want to speak out of turn here, because that would send the Unites. Okay, this is. I forgot about the Unites. The United Church believes in the rights. Okay, they don't call themselves the United. They call the people, the members of the United Church, they call them the Unites. The Unites. Or the Unites. It's the worst name ever. The rights, I believe, is what Adir wrote. It was scriptures, effectively. Basically, the in-game Bible, okay? The right gave them straight. So then, Old Pagos is a member of the United Church. This is contrasted to Howler's Dell, which is a member of the Druids, pagans. Shouldn't you look for real shelter? He trembles, his eyes widen. Someone has got to stay at the gate. The villagers in the east don't know about the illness. They may try crossing the woods, hit the closed gate while fleeing some wolves and stuff. He rubs his dirty neck. And I also can't leave the gate open, it's like a dam for monsters. For all I can do is choose the way I die, this is it. With my duty fulfilled. I have a couple options here, actually. You could at least spend the nighttime in one of the villages, or I could say I'm surprised you survived for this long. The second one implies that he doesn't know what he's doing. But he does. He's missing a nose. Anybody who's missing a nose and isn't dead, they're god. They know what they're doing. They roll 20s on like dice rolls for like combat. They're a monster. So instead, let's offer a unsolicited suggestion. You could at least spend the nighttime in one of the villages. He adjusts his jacket by shaking his shoulders, making the buckles jingle. No, I'm not a beggar. The villagers in the north won't help you for more than a day or two. I've got no dragon bones, just this little ibex. He pats his crossbow. Old Pagos is by itself. We don't look for kind folks. He thinks for a moment. I'll just wait. I'll get back home once the plague's done. Or before winter. You look at his disfigured face. I could either think. I can think he's either mad or dumb. Or I could realize that he's maybe a bit too proud, but he's knowledgeable. He knows about the locals. He's been in bed. Okay, don't say that. He has not been in bed with the locals. He is a local. Well, I guess, okay, if you're a local and you sleep there, like that's your home, I guess you're in bed with the locals because you're literally a local. You're in bed with yourself. He's been in bed with the locals. He's not mad and he's not dumb. He knows that there are consequences in this world. And he's right. This gate opens, Howler's Dell won't survive. This gate opens, the hunters, the pelts won't survive. None of the lands will survive, right? And the sickness will spread. Again, medieval fantasy. They don't have science. They only know as much as they can perceive. Symptoms. Symptoms are what we have to know how things work. And if all you can perceive is that people are getting sick in close proximity to each other, all you can do is assume that it spreads. He's smart. Much smarter than you think. Than I think. He knows more about the locals. He knows what he's doing. He may be a bit too proud, though. He glances at Yogi. Ye understand, I'm sure? Wardens are souls of duty. Leave my horse alone. Don't ever look at my horse ever again. I swear to God, if you try to eat my horse, I'm gonna eat you. Surprised you survived for this long. Well, you can call it surviving. I call it potions. Yo! My guard on the gate, I make potions. His chuckle makes him wince in pain. Puts a hand on his stomach and leans away. He has a stomach wound. Beasts took me for easy prey, but the good monks from the mountains equipped their guards well. They're helping our ill, but used to brew all sorts of stuff. His hand moves to an earthenware bottle by its belt. About this gate. Here, say. He points at the long twist of the rope that hangs to an iron hook. I could climb down and remove the beam from the other side. You'll take down yours. You need at least 3 hours to get through the woods. He touches his stomach and takes a deep breath. But I need you to give me aught first. What do you want? I'm hungry. Bring me some rations, maybe. Dried meat, apples, nuts. Maybe... He sizes me up. 5 meals. How did you know? How did you know I had 5 meals? Coffee sip. Oh, I love coffee. He did size me up though, so maybe he just looked at... maybe sizing up means looking at my overflowing bag full of like... literally everything. My bag has so much stuff, so maybe he just saw like 5 rations. Then I'll help you with the gates. How would I pay you? Okay, so I have 3 options. I can either say, sure, I'll bring you the food. I have 5 food right now. So I could just go through immediately. I could say instead, don't you have time to hunt? I could ask him like a question. I could also instead say, and try to offer to pay him instead. But I'm broke and I didn't gamble, so maybe not do that. But let's try to ask why he doesn't have time to hunt. Time. But I've got to stay near the gate. I can't keep people waiting while I track deer. He touches the bandage on his face. And if I die, there'll be no keeper left. Yo! You have way more options. Look at this. First, let's offer to pay. How about I pay you instead, my good man? Buy whatever you like in the villages. I can do naught with coins. I've got to stay in the wall and... He hesitates and looks away, then says with frustration, traveling without an ass to ride isn't as safe, you know. An ass being a horse. Ah, here we go. I can now say, you can just forage for nuts and berries. I can instead say, just give me the coins then. I'll bring a barrel of salted fish or some oats and cheese. I could scam him. Should I scam him? Do I scam him? Oh no. Oh no. The bad decisions, they're starting to well up inside me. Let's look at the other options first, right? Okay? I could say it's a horse, not an ass. True. Respect Yogi. It's a horse, not an ass. So that's why it's so tall. First time I see one. Now, we could offer to go with him, to hunt with him. I'll take the trophies, you get the meat for roasting. We could also say shoot some birds with a crossbow. Surely they land on this wall. That seems awful. What if we offered to go with them? But goblins and trolls can smell the burning fat. Roasting is the opposite of what I should do. How would you shoot some birds with a crossbow? Surely they'll land on this wall. Oh, I'm not much of a shot, really. He scratches his right arm. I'd rather save my arrows for all the pieces and stuff. Oh, I can also say I do have quarrels. Quarrels being crossbow arrows, basically. I don't use a crossbow, but I'd like one. So maybe I should just kill him and steal his crossbow. I don't know. No, don't kill him. Do not kill him. Do not kill people. I need to remember, I'm a Roadwarden. I can offer to give him my arrows. They'll fix your problem for longer. Aye. His eyes widen, but then his lips form an annoyed grimace. He spits on the ground and sighs. Nah, shit, Warden, forget it. I'll find odds on my own. Ah, shit, we pissed him off. Ah, crap, we pissed them off. Okay, I'd like you to open the gates. Wait! Do you understand what we've done? Okay, remember, you're just like a child, right? If you annoy a person long enough, they'll eventually give you what you want. If you keep saying, Mom, Dad, I need Fortnite points. What's a Fortnite point? Is it like a Battle Pass point? What's it called? I need Epic points, please. Mom, Dad, please. I really want Fortnite points. Please, please. I need a skin. Please. I need to be Peter Parker. Please. Please, please, Mom. I want to be Ariana Grande. He's like, alright, Timmy, shut the fuck up. I'll buy you some points. He will actually just let us go in. We just performed a 5-head move. I didn't even know that was possible. That's pretty funny. Now, Asterion must have passed him if he was going north, right? Because he left from Hallow's Dell northwards. So let's ask him. I'm looking for Asterion. That's nice, but he hasn't been here in many days. You sure he's not dead? Wait. After you admit that he very much may be, he puts a hand on his waist. Well, better get ready to slit open every dragon belly in the wilds. Did he often travel through the woods? Sure, though on a different mount. He had a saurian, 4 ibexes long, 2 ibexes tall. It was on 4 legs and jumps high and far. It's dark green like rotting leaves. At one time, I was taking a piss in the shrubs, and Asterion made the beast run up the rock face, and he jumps on that. He points at the hill, and they ran above the wall, and landed on the other side just like that. He snaps his fingers. His voice and eyes gain new vigor. Wait, that's actually, holy shit. So my horse sucks. My horse genuinely sucks. Hovlevin, whatever merchant, the trade association in Hovlevin, when they hired me, they should have given me a saurian. Why did they give me a horse? Why a horse? Why? Coffee sip. I'm angry. Yogi, I love you, but you're useless. You should have been a lizard, then I could have named you Yogi. God damn it. This horse is an Elvison horse. This is not a Yogi horse. This is an Elvison horse. Asterion has a Yogi saurian. You say the saurian was large and green. No, I mean not everywhere. He points at his eyebrows. He's red scales here and on the tail and shoulders, I think. I don't know what to call it. It's thighs, my good. Well, actually, wait. Hold up. Wait. Question time. Question time. Let me find the photo. Yeah. Let me find the photo. Because again, how dog wear pants? He's right. Is it a shoulder or is it a thigh? Okay? I want y'all to look at this photo. Woof woof. Oh god. Wait, sorry. Wait. Bad bit. Dog or thigh or shoulder? Bad bit. Real bad bit. Again, age-old question. Main overlay. Thigh or shoulder? Oh god. Bad bit. Wait, sorry. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling up the image. Please. Please don't click away. Thigh or shoulder. Right? Thigh or shoulder. Remember, if you were here for summer with the Shiba Inu, okay? Were they wearing pants? Or were they pantsless, right? Do they even have legs? Do they even have arms? What's the point of wearing a shirt? Thighs or shoulders? This man has a Redditor. Let's see. You ask him for a bit about Asterion, but he's little dad. There used to be 6 of us keepers. I saw him every now and then, but not that often. What can you tell me about the road behind the gates? Ew, not much. His chuckle turns into a cough. Leads through lowlands, mostly woods and some ponds. It's dark, lethal. He mentions tales of ghosts, dragons, fogs, and blood mages. But whenever you ask about any creature in particular, his response is vague and brief. The tribes abandoned this path. Ever since the war, the trade has been slow. People refuse to patrol it. The plants are getting taller, but for at least a few more seasons, it's still a shortcut. It's good that you have a mount. If Allah chases you, always stay close to the pass and ride as fast as you can. If no one uses this road, why are you here? He scowls at you. Not no one. It's where people hunt for monsters, and every few days I have to open it for reasons. What reasons? He's hiding something from us. Hiding. I think it's not for the hunter's pelt, right? Remember, pelts of the north, the hunters there, they hunt in the forest behind them. They don't go all the way north here. In Howler's Dell, they mentioned that they have some way of making a lot of money. They have a lot of money, but they don't say how or why they have all of this like money. There's something going on here. Okay, tell me, my good man, what's it like to live in Old Pagos? He opens his mouth, giving you a puzzled look, then lets out a weak chuckle. What am I to say? We've got rocks, he taps the wall, and make houses, bowls, tools. We sell them too. We grow oats and broad beans. Ibexes give us wool and skins from monks. What do you call it? The one you write on? He moves on what you mentioned, parchment. He moves on when you mention parchment, sorry. Yeah. It's a good place, beautiful old hill. That's what Pagos means. Old hill. We're learning more of the language. When you bring up the monastery, his eyes get brighter. Good people. They came here on a mission, teaching us right book. My grandparents were pagans, you know. But we now follow the river of truth. We keep to ourselves, but help others when they need us. That's interesting. So the monastery is a relatively new something. They're literally missionaries. They're missionaries performing missionary. Don't say that. Cut that. Reminder to please cut that from the video. I've heard about some bandits. Were they bothering you? He scratches the bandage on his cheek. I only know there's one band somewhere, but not around. I saw them. He knows about Glaucia. He must know. Glaucia is the only band around here. Why are you afraid of Glaucia? He straightens up and gives you a long look. I don't know who you're talking about. He doesn't trust me enough to say anything about Glaucia. Okay. Glaucia has a huge foothold in this area. To the point where Thais herself is also in bed with Glaucia, okay? Thais being the mayor of Howler's Dell. We need to figure out how she got so much influence. And we need to figure out if it's actually, if they're good or if they're bad, okay? Because the Pelts of the North wants to get rid of them. But seriously, you're tempting the forest. You need to seek shelter. Nah, he waves it up with a smile. Once he speaks, his voice cracks. And where would I go anyway? I should tell him about two different places. Howler's Dell is more supplies than you could eat in a year. The thing if I do this, right? Mind you, the scavenger that we saved, Pyros, when we saved him, he told us to bring him to Howler's Dell because he was like, I know that place. He knows the people there, and he knows about the things there. But when we went to talk to them, Thais was like, oh, that man. Well, I didn't like him. He just took a shit, drank a lot, talked a lot of nonsense, and left. So I don't think Howler's Dell would appreciate us bringing yet another scavenger, another beggar, and more than that, a person from a plagued land. The Pelts of the North has plenty of space, but I'm worried about losing them. They're my cheapest option to sleep at. So I'm very worried if we just bring them there, what if they get sick? However, we might as well, right? Howler's Dell is a much larger place. They have more things to work with. The Pelts of the North, we only go there to gamble. Shit, but I love gambling though. Fuck. The Pelts of the North has plenty of space. Know what? I wouldn't mind spending time with Dalit and her crew, especially the winter. But forget it. I can't afford even that. Unless they're looking for a pair of hands, I better stay here. Oh, look at this. I can either say let's return to this later, or... So the thing that stops you from going to the Pelt right away is dragon bones. I mean, that's a pretty big thing. In the north, everyone looks after themselves. The hunters may be my friends, but I won't beg them for help. Aha! So now we have a new option, a new quest. I can ask the innkeeper to let them stay for labor. Let's return to this later. He stretches. About your duty. Let's return to this later. About your duty. Let's return to this later. All we can do now is ask him to open the gate. Now. The heart of the forest, okay? Old Pagos. We can go through here. We can also instead just go straight up north. But I think we should continue east. We've already convinced him to open the gate. We can get him to open the gate and see what's going on here. It's worth it because we're mostly okay, and it doesn't matter if we look like shit because it's all sick. Sick people have no opinions. I'd like you to open the gate. Well, I don't think you should enter the wilds, but, you know, if you say so, do it. Do it. Do the roar. I enter the forest. You lift the bar on your side of the gate and wait for Quintus. Oh yeah, he's a name. You hear him pressing his feet to the wall as he climbs down with his rope, getting on the ground swiftly. He gives you a serious look from the open gate. Safe travels, Warden. I travel as far east as I can. Huh. The forest gives way to rocks and green hills, but among the tall trees are numerous monkeys sitting in small groups, loud, yet shorter than half your size. They sort of green leaves with red, brown, white, and blue fur. As you approach the territory, the excitement grows. They climb up and down the trunks, sway on vines, jump between branches, or hang down putting to use their long tails. They throw at you countless angry glances and grunts, but also cones, branches, and chestnuts, free food. A piece of their fresh feces lands close to Yogi. I am gonna skin you alive, but the pack's aim is rather miserable. I don't have a crossbow. I can dismount and yell at them. Let's see what they do, okay? Are monkeys afraid of yelling? Apes and monkeys. The limbs and tails of these furry creatures have uncanny strength. As a result of the time they spend swinging from branches and climbing, doing their best to avoid the terrestrial predators. Like goblins, they rarely attack humans and don't use weapons, but can savagely defend their territories, to the point of participating in lasting wars with other packs, and even with human settlements. Some tribes hunt for their meat, but these beasts are still hardly understood, and many tales ascribe to them unusual powers and abilities. The communities that distinct apes from monkeys usually describe the former as the larger ones with broader chests and the latter smaller creatures with tails, but these labels don't always match the reality. Now, we could yell at them, but they could determine that is a threat to their territory. I could also just endure it and ride forward, but that puts Yogi at risk. If I had a crossbow, I may be able to shoot one, but then they may have just killed me after. So I don't really know what to do here. These are all bad choices. My thought process is this. This is my design. My thought process is this. We can try to yell at them, okay? We're still at the edge of the map, so we can run away if anything happens, okay? Monkeys are not like crows. They may not remember people. They may all have collective Alzheimer's, okay? If I endure it, I run too much of a risk of Yogi getting shit on her face. I don't want to ride a stinky horse, okay? Instead, I'll look for trouble. I dismount and yell back at them. You approach, I lost 1 health and 1 appearance. Oh no. You approach one of the crowded trees, holding your trusted axe. The creatures spread at first, but then surround you in your palfrey, throwing at you anything they can grab while staying among the branches. You cover your face, but to no avail. 2 animals move to the lower branches and cackle as they effortlessly dodge your swipes. Your angry shout is met with mocking howls. A few more creatures get on the ground. A lucky rock reaches your forehead, making you retreat. I absolutely failed. Okay, that was the worst possible choice. I should have just ran through with my horse. What am I doing? Well, that's fine. We're still healthy. We're covered in shit. We smell disgusting. We smell sweat, dirt, and monkey poop. Your clothes are torn and worn. I climb into the saddle and rush Yogi. Ride, Yogi, ride! Every minute or so, you get lost in the dense woods. Oh no. When possible, you stick to the remains of the beaten path, clearing the overgrown thicket that blocks your way, but it would take many more travelers to sustain such a trail. I've just remembered something very key that I should have remembered before I went down this path. I'm doomed. Okay? The old hermit down here said, avoid the east. The east is not lands for your people. The east belongs to nature. Do not disturb it. He wasn't just talking about this. The southern crossroads where I could go east into the deep forest with a shortcut. All of the east is forest. All of it is nature. We may be in a very bad spot here soon. The land around you may lack greens, but it's far from being empty. The fallen boughs and dead stumps are slowly devoured by ants and mushrooms, a web-like labyrinth of wooden walls, while the white termites, larger than your hands... Yo, I don't have the largest hands ever, okay? But I have average size hands, okay? That is not an average termite. What the Jesus. Continue their never-ending march. The guards notice your presence, but simply form a warning line in front of their workers. The trees are taller than the temple in the city, with trunks resembling the legs of giants. The shadows they cast are like a carpet, and the few beams of light nourish the sparse bushes and ferns. The only plants that aren't choked by the rotting, late summer leaves, shaped like toothed squares, as large as your face. Now that I'm more familiar with this part of the forest, I may be able to find a smoother path. We may be doomed here. Ooh, okay, I'm good. The road is bright, empty, surrounded by sparsely growing trees, gentle hills, and meadows. It leads you to a cairn, a pile of rocks ranging in size from your abdomen to your fist. There's also quite a few tiny pebbles. A narrow, hardly passable trail leads south, but likely won't survive another year without travelers. Let's check out the cairn, okay? Now, cairns are often, at least way back then, like very, very way back then, but still today in like certain places, they're erected usually in memory of someone, for the passing of someone. So, I think it's worth it to take a look at it first. I take a closer look at the cairn because it may give us some information. Okay, that's a large-ass cairn. That's a very large cairn. It's wider than two people standing side by side and taller than Yogi. The grass surrounds it tightly. Must be years old, but could just as well be older than any village in the north. You find rocks of many colors, including red, cream, white, black, and blue, and many dotted or mixed ones. While the cairn stays firmly beneath your touch, easily shattered with a pickaxe, or a single swipe with a dragon. You also notice pieces of old chicken bones pressed upon the rocks. Fortunately, no coins. What? Unfortunately, I would not rob from like I would not rob from a grave. At least not like live. Not live. I step away. Get by the cairn. Now, we may either take the narrow path south, or we continue our journey. This seems to be the safer route, but I like to take risks, okay? I think it's worth it to see the narrow path just to see, because we can always take our way backwards, right? It's better for us to know what's here and what's not. I take the narrow path south. You grab Yogi's lead and use your axe to get through the branches and then the tall grass. After a few minutes, you reach a colorful meadow with orange, red, and white flowers, as tall as a wheat field. The late summer scent lures all sorts of insects as well as tiny birds. The path ends at the edge of the glade. There's some observations I can make about this. A bird or an ape may get me from above. I move forward but keep an eye on the closest trees. We know that there are monkeys here. A cat could leap at me from among the flowers. I keep looking around. The cat... There are regular cats, like meow meow, you know what I mean? And then there are larger cats, like tigers, like meow meow, you know what I mean? There are different meow meows and meow meows and meow meows all around. That's what it means by a cat. I can observe the ground. A snake may bite my leg. No, I may say I don't trust this place. I turn back. I think we should continue. Let's see what this is, this glade, okay? There's a lot of flowers, but I don't think things would be still hiding inside the flowers. A snake is not necessarily a problem. We may have the ingredients to make some sort of anti-venom. Hopefully. But we may as well die. A bird or an ape coming from the trees, we can probably see before it hits us anyways, so there's no point looking up in the trees. Those things are loud, very large. Our biggest threats here, then, I think, are a cat and a snake. And I'm more worried about poison than I am about, a swiping cat. We can always fight a cat. I observe the ground. A snake may bite my leg. You tether your mount to a tree and tread forward carefully, keeping your eyes and weapon low. Soon, a corpse hits the ground and you wipe the blood off your axe. Woo! First good choice of the day, baby. We killed the snake. Our first good choice of the playthrough. Take a deep breath and crouch by the 100-legged worm. Whoa! As wide as your fist and 3 feet long. That's as tall as some people that I know. They attempted to crawl up your boots, but you cut through the red plates covering its armor with a confident cut. and I seek anything of value among the plants. Fun fact, millipedes and centipedes in the wild, they're pretty damn poisonous. They're not too bad for people, but like larger ones back then were really poisonous. Their main way of killing things, actually, is not by their mandibles, it's by the venom that they inject. Your steps force the mice and insects to spread, but your presence remains hardly noticed by the colorful life around you. And look, we get a knowledge prompt. My education could be of use here. I use my brain cell. We now have a new option. Whereas before the only option we had was I would change to the Karen, I can now say I pick all sorts of interesting herbs and add them to my bag with ingredients. You add a set of rare herbs to your bag of ingredients, including the snake bait. Yes, you maneuver your knife, putting into small vessels the herbs you need to keep fresh, and separating them from the ones you'll dry in the sun. The one for the occasional 100-legged worms that keep disturbing your work wouldn't differ from a regular work in the garden. In the garden! In the garden! In the garden! I need more coffee, my voice is dying. One moment, one sip of coffee. Okay. Now, just as a midstream reminder, because oh my god, I've been playing for 2 hours? What the fuck? I've been streaming for 2 hours? Jesus Christ. 1 hour was spent making the axe and the backpack. If you hate the pauses, the regular pauses of me always stopping and going, and you want me to just continue in one shot, be sure to subscribe to my channels. My main YouTube channel, where all the heavily edited content goes, and the secondary channel, where very sometimes lightly edited content goes, full playthroughs mostly. You'll see a lot more videos, including these ones, be uploaded to the main channel, edited down to the core of what they are. Less talking, less stream interaction, just the stuff itself. Subscribe to be notified when that stuff appears. This weekend, actually. I return to the cairn. You're by the cairn. I continue my journey. That was a very, very good effort, because look, we've now more ingredients. If we can find some sort of alchemy station, right, we can craft anything. What do we have in our ingredients, for instance? We now have a collection of herbs from the heart of the forest. A snake bait flower. We can now bait out snakes. And we had the black word from before, or a black wound. Your eyes wander between the wall of trees and shrubs on one side and a dirty pond on the other. The road itself is wide, covered with soggy logs that keep the ground from turning into mud. It's breaking under your mount's hooves, letting out what sounds like a sigh of relief. The water insufferably stinks of carrion. Carrion being the word for dead stuff. Dead carnage, dead bodies and stuff. And it's covered with a blanket of green plants and white flowers that draw countless buzzing insects. Even the horse shouldn't drink from it. Yogi tries to get familiar with the unusual pavement, and speeds up to jump over a fallen trunk, blocking your path. Once it lands, it breaks one of the logs in halves. Soon after, you see a massive black saurian resting on the ground, enjoying the light at the edge of the forest. He seems to be ignoring your presence. Once again, Yogi canters. I trust my horse's instincts. I trust his instincts. And also, we know that's not Asterian's saurian. Asterian's saurian is green. Realize this. I think if we never knew that it was green, we may have had to follow it, right? If we didn't know the color of Asterian's saurian, the game may have forced us to follow it, but because we know, I think we just get to trust Yogi. Once the monster raises its head, you're already in the air. The beast pushes itself away from the ground with its forelimbs, trying to catch any chunk of flesh with its massive jaws, but you safely hit the ground and return to a trot slowly. I pay attention to the dead trees sticking out of the pond. They look similar to that saurian. The colors of leaves range from greens to purples, and overwhelm you with shadows. The stems of the shrubs twisted in all directions, seeking the slightest scraps of sunlight. The trees are not too tall, but their trunks are as wide as buildings. The neglected road has been carved into a thicket. An inch at a time, a corridor of plants with a floor made of pebbles that give way to the saplings and vines. From time to time, you pass by many churns, relics left by Roman dragons, unicorns, and trolls. Some of them are still used by beasts. Boars, striped cats, or packs of goblins. The birds are sharing their songs, as cheerful as ever. When necessary, I clear any thicket that's in Yogi's way. You reach a gap in the tunnel of plants. The meadow nourishes a lonely tree, growing in the shadow of a rocky hill, surrounded by humble grasses. Sorry. Near the tree roots, a wolf without fur is feasting on a human corpse. Sorry. Near the tree roots, a wolf without fur is feasting on a human corpse, unaware of your presence. This may be a bad place to be. Very bad place. Think about this. What is a wolf without fur? Either diseased or undead. There's no other way. And why is there a human corpse? What killed it? Could it have been the wolves or something more? Wolves are never alone. Wolves always stay in packs. You know, like a wolf pack. Oh! So, if we attack, if we even take a moment to look around, there's a good chance we'll be ambushed by more wolves. I think it's worth it to try to look around just to see where the pack is, though. I look around. You see no other creatures. The road in front of you is passable. The birds in the sky seem harmless. The beast raises its head. Its ears are shaking. I look at the corpse. You don't see much from afar. It's in one piece, with blood-soaked clothing torn to pieces, indistinguishable from the loose flaps of skin. There's no sacks, bags, or equipment, but you spot a trail of blood leading into the trees. The creature must have dragged a shell from the deeper woods. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. Uh-oh. We may be at the moment where we need to attack. But should we just look at the wolf to determine how to attack it? I don't know if I have a moment longer. Let's risk it. I look at the wolf. It's standing on all fours, crouching forward with blood dripping from its massive canines. Its head, and especially its jaw, are wide and long like those of a horse. The brown shell is muscular, with pronounced shoulder blades, the hair resembling your arms, to the black fur at the end of its long, foot-long tail. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. The thing is, I really need to see what's on the body, right? Why is it coming from the forest? What is in this forest? I think I need to attack it. I have just enough strength. I think I should eat. Let me eat some food, just to make sure that I can survive this, right? I can't use my inventory right now because I'm currently in the middle of something. Crap, okay? We have 2 vitality. We should take a break, but our armor is very strong. I attack. You get down. I try to sneak up on the beast with my axe. I don't have a crossbow. Oh, these are bad choices. Oh, these are bad choices. No, I have to leave. I can always come back later, right? If I try to fight this, I'm going to die. I need to come back later when we have more energy, and by the time it's done eating, we can still follow the blood trail into the forest. Forget it. I leave this place as quickly as I can. Yogi obeys gladly. The beast takes a few steps after you, but lets you go at the edge of the glade. Here we go. I could either say no point in dying in the middle of nowhere. I can also say I wish I could help, but I'm not ready for such a fight. And I can also say maybe the beast will break the bones before they get touched by the fog. The fog being a literal fog of mana. In this case, in this world, it's called pneuma, but mana, effectively. When the fog touches a corpse, it brings it back to life. It's what forms the zombies that roam the land. That's why we burn the bodies as soon as people die. No point in dying in the middle of nowhere. The stream ahead can be crossed by a humble ford, made of hundreds of rocks that used to reach from the bottom to the surface, but is now partially demolished either by time or a living creature. For a rider, crossing here won't be much of a problem, but most travelers gotta take off their pants and shoes. Moving an entire wagon would pose quite a challenge. The water is clean and the banks are low, a good watering spot for Yogi. Now the thing is, I could begin hard labor to cross the ford, but it's too late. It's too late to begin hard labor in the middle of the wilderness. I have only 4 hours left. 4 hours. I am so far away from any way through. I should have never come here. At nighttime it gets worse, the goblins awake. For now, I ignore it. Sorry, Yogi, you don't get a drink. The ambiance, the noises. Something's here. The path leads you uphill. The trees are getting sparser and smaller, and more sunlight touches the ground. The signs of human touch are rare. The lone, large boulder surely draws attention. You can't guess its age. Plats around it suggest it was passed plenty of times already. The remains of red paint are covering these inside. It's the same one as the one you saw at the southern crossroads. Don't enter. Danger ahead. You look behind you. Why did I look behind me? Oh yeah, at my horse. I can either say I thank my ancestors for keeping my senses sharp. I can either say I pat Yogi, it did well. I can also sigh with relief. Who cares about signs? I made it. I can also instead say I deserve a good rest in a good bed after that. I want to pat my horse. Good job, Yogi. You did well. Your palfrey snorts and tosses its head, pinning its scared ears back. You'd like to tell it that you're proud and grateful, but even if it could understand you, it wouldn't listen. Remember, horses are tied to nature. They're literally a beast. It is one of the few things that I have that can at least tell me the senses of things. Whether it's confident or it's scared, it knows whether there's danger afoot. I need to rely on it. I need to listen to it. And I can listen to it now. It's scared. We need to go back. We need to go all the way back. All the way back. I travel to the gates in the west. I will not go back to the carriage. Time has passed. Only half an hour. We were able to go through. You're standing at the ford. Still as challenging for travelers as it was when you found it. The water is clean and cold, allowing your palfrey to quench its thirst. I could spend some time gathering larger rocks and throw them into the water. I could also just ignore it. And I may also instead say I'm not going to bother with this place any longer. I'll ignore it from now on. I don't want to necessarily say that we'll never come back. And I think it's worth it to try to rebuild the passageway just to make it a bit safer than the next time through. You never know when you need to escape into this forest or out of it. So to have a good, clean way to get in or out is going to save us in the future, I think. I spent some time gathering larger rocks and throw them into the water. How long? I can choose any increment of time here, but I think we should go for as long as we can. We're not too far from Howler's Dell, 2 hours ride out at most, so we have time until nighttime. An hour should be enough to cover at least half of the gaps. You let Yogi graze and drink by the stream. You wander along the edge of the dark forest on one side and colorful meadow on the other and seek rocks smaller than your head. Carrying them makes you tired quickly. After you're done, the deepest holes are now filled by your rocks. For now, it's enough. I move on. Interesting, I could have worked more, but it's way too dangerous. Yogi trots forward, keeping his eyes on the pond, when one of the logs breaks under the hooves. You let go of the reins and land on the rotten wood, while your palfrey squeals in out of pain and surprise, falling outside. Oh crap, it panically tries to get up. Oh no! A broken leg. The fear whispers in your ear. It won't ever heal yourself, and you're not gonna find a mage in the middle of nowhere, especially not a horse healer. I fear it's not a broken leg. I crawl away, and then get back on my feet. I hope it's not a broken leg. You sigh with relief. Oh, Yogi walks in place, afraid and angry, but of a healthy shell. Some of your belongings are spread around, but they're alright too. The beast violently switches its tail as if to murder any fly on its way. Stamps with a hind leg. The sound of the crushed wood echoes through the water. It tosses its head, looks around, and snorts. Its ears are pinned back. When the horse pins its ear back, it's very, very, nervous. Very nervous. I calm it down with the sound of my voice. Relax, Yogi. Everything's fine. I can also pet its head. I can give it time to look around. I can move slowly and show it my hands. I can let it smell my flask with chamomile oil. Ask it to lower its head, or I myself can stay calm. I think we need to let it look around. Right? We need to let the horse look around because it's one of the best options we have at understanding nature. Now give it time to look around. You step away, but Yogi is close to a panic attack. You move your hands, hoping to draw its attention. I let it smell my flask with chamomile oil. You swing into the air, but Yogi tosses its head away, paying no attention to the scent. I calm it down with the sound of my voice. Relax, Yogi. Everything's fine. It shakes its head and takes a step towards you. I pet its head. You reach out with an open hand, but it tosses its head away. At least it didn't bite you. Huh. I move slowly and show it my hands. It spares you a glance, then another one, and observes your movements. As you freeze with your hands raised, Yogi makes a slight churn, trusting you won't attack it as it seeks threats behind it. Its ears are still pointing backwards, but are no longer pinned back. It's listening. I ask it to lower its head. It keeps looking around, too afraid to pay you any attention. You consider grabbing your reins and forcing your palfrey to obey you, but it could ruin its trust completely. I give it time to look around. No, I pet its head. I smell. I stay calm and breathe deeply. You exaggerate each breath, straighten up and put on a gentle smile. Yogi fixes his eyes at you and makes a final snort, still ready to run away if you turn out to be a monster in disguise. I ask it to lower its head. You gesture for it to follow the movement of your hand, encouraging it with a warm voice. As you step closer, it flinches, doesn't move away. I give it time to look around. Oops, I pet its head. You reach out to it with an open hand. It stands still, allowing you to touch it above the nostrils, then steps closer. You rub its skin, still speaking to it. I see. It was a textual puzzle. I needed to know how to calm the horse down by demonstrating the correct movements. I'm gonna have to remember this for later because I'm worried next time I may not have enough time. I'm lucky this time that there was nothing trying to kill us, but next time we may have to calm it down very quickly in order to get away from something. Right? I need to do it much, much better next time. I give it time to look around. You step away, allowing Yogi to get familiar with its surroundings. It then lowers its head, observing the hole that trapped the tooth. The heavy animal has made a hole, pressing the sodden wooden without really breaking the log. After a few minutes, your palfrey seems to be more curious than afraid. I let smell my flask with chamomile oil. You open the flask and move it near the horse's nose. Yogi takes a few deep breaths. You've used hundreds of flowers to fill this little vessel, but it was worth the effort. Your mount shakes its head and nickers. Speaking some nonsense, I get back in the saddle. Now, I don't remember at all any of those steps. So the next time this happens, and we need to do it quickly, we may lose either our life or our horse. I don't want either. Speaking some nonsense, I get back in the saddle. Yogi keeps his head low, its ears are slightly pricked forward, the tail is loose. It flinches after you grab the saddle, so you give it time to take a deep breath. Soon, you're ready for the further journey. You pat your palfrey's neck. We ride forward. That was an interesting sequence. Now we understand how to commune with our horse better. The distant roar gets louder as you ride forward, and is quickly followed by the obnoxious screeching of runners. Oh no, we've only an hour left. You notice the sounds of breaking branches, and a powerful paws trampling the soil. The shouts of anger and fear. We don't have enough time until everything goes really poorly. And even if it's angry, what can roar so loudly? And the runners, what are runners? We have a bestiary on them. Can I take them? I remember them, they're birds, taller than humans. Wait. We can make a gunpowder flask to throw them away like we did all the way near their start. We may be able to help. Unless that was griffins, I don't remember now. There could be the possibility that this thing we can help with too. It could be owned by the corpse that we saw. There's a lot of options here. I say we risk it. I follow the sounds. The tall trees cover you with the shadows. You're forced to get on your boots and move beneath a few fallen boughs. Soon, you reach a few shrubs at the edge of the fighting ground and tether your mount nearby. You count 6 birds spread around the dry glade. They're as tall as your palfrey, with pointy, curved beaks and tiny wings. Their feathers are green, blue, and white. The saurian, surrounded by the predators, looks like it could break their necks with just a breath. It matches your height, but it's as wide as it is tall, and as long as a house, even without its long tail. It's covered with firm plates. A line in horizontal rows down the entire shell, and its head resembles a horned helmet. On its side are 2 rows of irregular spikes, each of them longer than your forearm. The creature swings its tail left and right, scaring out the rungs with a massive club at its end. Surely some bird beast won't get through the dragon's scutes. By the monster's side, you notice its descendant, gurgling in fear, too small and weak to protect itself. The runners don't have to rely on their muscles. They're fast, nimble, and keep their distance easily. Their constant shouts and disorienting movements force their victims to walk in place, swinging the tree-breaking weapon to no avail. If predators make a mistake, the dragon will crush one of them, scaring the flock away. Otherwise, the saurian will break the neck of its child with a single wrong step. When the bird spots you and, shocked, starts to flaps its wings and squawk. We have 3 options here. My ancestors would not intervene. My ancestors being my pagan followings, right? The forest needs to be its own master. I agree. I can instead try to scare the birds away, trying to help the saurians. I may also instead help the birds and take a side. This is interesting. One option was opened because of our past. We chose to be a pagan at the start. We chose to be a scholar at the start, okay? We chose two of the choices. The first option is one unlocked by our choices. However, if we try to scare the birds away, we may be able to befriend the Saurian. Remember, Asterion has a Saurian. We don't know what happened to his Saurian. We don't even know if it's alive. But if we try to be friends with these Saurians, maybe we can utilize them in some way. The problem is there's no guarantee. A scared animal is still a scared animal, right? A beast is still a beast. It's too unpredictable. I can try to help the birds, but then again, they're still beasts. There's no telling if it'll even work out in the end. The thing is, I don't necessarily want to let this go either. I think it is doable. Even though my ancestors would not intervene, I think we ourselves should. I think it is possible to make use of the Saurian here, at least for later adventures. Through this neck of the woods, there are birds, there are runners, and there are Saurians. Where Yogi broke through the rotten wood, there were Saurians there. I think it best to try to befriend them and see maybe, just maybe, we can make the path safer next time around. I try to scare away the birds. With the axe in your hand, you jump out of the shrubs, shouting at the nearest two runners. In return, they bow to you, raising their voices, then straighten up, shaking their colorful heads. Despite this display, they step back, not sure what's happening. You swing your weapon, making yourself look as wide as you can. The birds start to regroup, allowing the roaring giant to get closer to them. After the first bird flees to the trees, the others follow. The winner is still swinging his tail, observing you, but swaying you to further noise. The little dragon steps away and imitates the movements of its parents, though if anything, it looks more like a play. Time to get out of here. You lead Yogi away, step on a stump, and climb into the saddle. From behind you comes a triumphant roar. 4 options. I'm just glad I saved the dragonling. Or I could say just doing my work. Runners are a bigger threat to travelers. I may also say too bad I couldn't steal that creature. Or I may instead be opportunistic. Once the dragonling gets older, it may turn into a nice few piles of coins. I kinda wish I could have stolen the baby dragon. Maybe what I should have done was let them kill the parents and I steal the child, right? God damn it. Well, I'm just glad I saved the dragonling. Maybe it'll remember me in the future. Maybe. I hope that play, pays off. You approach the monkey's territory. The dwellers are even louder than the last time, and if you dare to jump on the ground. First rocks are flying towards you. 1 hour left. I need to endure it. I ride forward. More appearance. They keep throwing poop at me! You try to shield yourself with a cloak, but you enter an avalanche of missiles. One of the rocks painfully hits your arm, but your gambeson is in great shape and softens the blow. Soon after that, your shoulder blocks something from reaching your forehead. A few beasts get in front of you, slowing you down and mocking you with their screams, but they aren't goblins. They keep running back, limiting themselves to threats. You rush Yogi, which is more than happy to follow your command. The monkeys following you, swinging between the trees until they reach the edge of their territory, letting out triumphant shouts. Let's get out of here. We've interfered with nature once enough. Too many times and we're doomed. The long shadow cast from the crags protects you from the sun. Quintus looks at you from the top of the precipice that's near the tower. He crosses the parapet, gestures for you to wait, climbs down on the other side of the wall and opens the gate. Yay again. What do you want? Now, it's almost nighttime. 30 minutes, okay? To get to Howler's Dell would be 45, and we can't move during nighttime. It's simply too dangerous. There's no other place we can be, and it behooves us to try to convince him to trust us. We need to learn more about Glaucia. So let us seek shelter, let us share our food, let us share our belongings. Can I seek shelter, Quintus? It's too dangerous to stay here. You have to find a safe place as soon as possible. You find the closest shelter in Howler's Dell, the creatures of the night are surely going to attack you. Travel. Okay, I couldn't seek shelter here. Oh, you ride through the open gate, then carefully dismount. I made it, safely. I made it, it's nighttime. Some of the locals greet you politely, but they keep their distance. After you notice your own smell and the dirt in your clothes, you no longer wonder why. I head to the stables. You spend a few minutes with Yogi, but before you reach the square, someone clears their throat. You turn toward a man in his 50s with large hands, not a beard and no hair. The stable master, he both introduces himself and answers an unspoken question. You frown, and realize that you indeed saw him before, and your palfrey was nicely taken care of during your first visit to the village. Rather, than one winter is necessary, but I'd rather grind flour, he says with annoyance. You do not think your beast waters itself, brings itself fodder from a storehouse, and cleans its own shit, nay? Takes time and hay, it is. Then he points at your companion. Isn't there going to work for it? You better have a pouch at hand. You look behind you. The stables are not much more than an open shed with piles of planks, 2 donkeys, and a bunch of napping chickens. Would a dragon bone be enough? He nods. For one day. Aye, that's fair. He looks around, rubbing his hands together. We do have a knowledge prompt, but let's see what options we have. I can say, here you go. I can say, I'm broke. My amounts only need some hay, water, and peace. What does our knowledge provide us? Come to think of it, it's an opportunity for the village. Horse manure makes for great plant food. Huh. Let's try to convince him. Describe what you learned during your studies, and the man stops paying any attention. Fine, fine. He sighs and turns around. I'll grab a shovel in the barrow. Issue solved. I'm a genius. You're wandering through the village. An upset mountain is bleating time and time again, waiting for someone's attention. Oh, Mufflin, not mountain. Sorry, the mountains don't speak. This is not League of Legends, that's not Malphite. A couple of older people are gossiping with excitement while they grind grains with millstones. I go to the main square. That's all I can do. The tailors closed the workshop for today, and the druids won't agree to see me, and it's too late to ask the locals about the work. It's getting dark. The inn is loud and crowded. The innkeeper lights up the rushlights, the workers drink, and the guards are preparing for the night's watch. Sorry, gassy. One moment. If it wasn't for the presence of the creek and the uncanny lack of beggars, this place would feel like Hovlevin's marketplace. Hovlevin, being one of the main capital cities of the kingdom, the United Kingdoms of the 5 territories. This is basically it's just imagine Dynasty Warriors, but Western. Okay, this is basically it. In terms of like how the land is shaped out. We were sent by them to do this whole quest and to come here to give us trade contract. One of the tables is occupied by a dozen or so kids. None of them looks older than 12, and the youngest one, too dirty to resemble either a boy or a girl, is about 6. They are surrounded by their playthings, a muffler on the wheels, an elegant wooden sword, and a painted board covered with rocks. They're bored and tired. Even though you only get a glimpse of them, the old girl notices your attention. She springs up to your feet and approaches you with a few skips. She's already pretty tall, dressed in a worn, subdued tunic, so long that it looks like a sack. I have 3 options here. It'd be rude to ignore her. I smile and ask what she needs. I could also be very dismissive and say, yeah, let's not encourage her. I may even say, I don't want to deal with children right now. I say I'm busy and walk by her. Now, contextual clues here are very important. Often the options that you have depend on the knowledge that you know. And knowledge, in a way, is power itself. Just like in the real world, the more that you know, the more informed you'll be when you have to make these hard decisions. We know, for instance, in this village, that Theus, the mayor, considers herself the mother of all the children in the city. She considers herself the patron saint of this little village here, okay? She takes care of all of them. She cares a lot about the sons and daughters of this place, quite literally. That's why Asterion is no longer allowed, because he got one of them killed by a goblin ambush, or a griffin ambush. I think it would do us well to be nice to the child, to show Theus that we are not someone who's going to be a stranger in her lands, but instead we're going to incorporate ourselves into their way of life, into her system of values. It'd be rude to ignore her. I smile and ask what she needs. She puts her hands together and puts on a grimace of playful misery. Master Roadwarden! Hearing such an antiquated salutation makes it difficult for you to hide your smirk. We here? She points to her group. Bored. Oh, so bored. She puts the back of her hand on the forehead, letting out a deep sigh. Ah, please, master, tell us a story or two, for each traveler sees with different eyes. The last few words sound like an echo of an old tale. I can either say fine, make room for me at the table, or I may say, sorry kids, I'm not much of a talker, and walk away quickly. Now, I am covered in, like, monkey poop, okay? These kids don't care that I'm covered in monkey poop. I smell disgusting. But fine, make room for me at your table. I need to impress Theus. I want to be a part of your place. I want to show her that she can trust me. I need to build trust. Let me tell you a tale. The children gather round and ask you for a minute for them to gather their friends and siblings. After a bit of chaos, there's 20 young souls sitting closely to one another, on benches, stools, and on the ground. The red-haired twins brought a blanket to lay down on. You have a shorter side of the table all to yourself. The older kids understand your lost look in an instant. They start to hush each other, which causes an even greater amount of noise when in the end, there are dozens of eyes staring at you with a mixture of boredom and anticipation. We do have a knowledge opportunity here, but let's see our existing options first, right? I can either tell them a tale of my ancestors, of my pagan tree. I don't know if we should do that. That seems... But this is a town of druids, right? So it should be safe. I can also tell them about one of my adventures, exactly as it happened. Though my adventures so far have been... Wait, what have my adventures been so far? I saved a man who ended up being a scammer. I helped the merchant in this town who ended up being a wife beater. Oh. I met an old hermit who didn't trust me because I don't know the word of the language. I went to ruins where people died and were covered in... Oh, God. I found a man on a gate with no nose, and he's trying to survive, and old Pagos is destroyed. I went to the forest to the east, where monsters tried to kill me. WTF, where's my fighter jet? Soon. I remember, I don't stream for you. I stream for me. We're gonna play some Zelda soon, don't worry. Once we're done this game, around 6:30, I just want to play this because I need to mix in more of the games that I want to play along with Zelda. Because I want to play a lot of different games. But it's hard to find time with Zelda, so I'm mixing this in first. But you'll have to wait. I am enjoying this so far. Now play the game, you want to bait. Those steel beams won't melt themselves? True! Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. I'm just memeing, by the way. If somebody's like watching this and thinking that I'm a 9/11 denier or something, I'm just memeing, okay? Like, I don't believe these things, okay? Like, guys, I'm not crazy. I swear to God, okay? So let's not tell them about the adventures, because our adventures so far have been awful. We've basically done nothing correctly. We're just covered in shit. Like, they're gonna see through us immediately. I can tell them about our adventures, but spice it with a couple of lies. They won't believe it. I can also tell them about Hovlivin, its splendor and mysteries. If anyone has questions, I tell them what I know, but I don't want to be a shill. Right? I don't even like Hovlivin myself necessarily. I'm a Roadwarden. I'm for the people here. He's a denialist, Earth is flat, moon landing is a host. Yeah, true. And remember, Joe Biden is a lizard. Again, I'm just joking. I don't believe this stuff. Well, maybe except for the lizard thing. I've seen them blink. None of these options are particularly good. So let's see what our knowledge can do for us. Ah, look at the option. I've read quite a few stories during my studies. I know a rather unique fairy tale. Remember, these kids are out in the middle of nowhere. I studied in a monastery as a scholar. This story may be more intriguing to them. They're very bored and they're anticipating something good. Let's read them a fairy tale. It's short and sweet, though at one point it gets a bit cruel. Sorry, gassy. I hope you didn't hear that. Oh god, you definitely heard that. I just saw the waveform. Oh god. The youngest kid covers their eyes, which doesn't block their hearing in any way. As you get to the end, the tension disappears. The older kids clap for a bit, keeping their dignity intact, while the younger ones start to laugh and argue loudly about the best part of your tale. Two girls start to wrestle, pretending to be characters that you just portrayed. Seeing this, the adults decide to intervene. You stand up, and children do the same to show their respect. The girl that I previously talked with you thanks you for your time. What are my options? I nod to her and walk away silently. Or I can say it was my pleasure. I return to my tasks. I think it's good to say it was my pleasure, as a thank you to them, to be humble about it, and again to show Theus that I'm of the people. It was my pleasure. I return to my tasks. You're in front of the Ape Ale Inn. I asked the guard to look for the mayor. No, I approach Eric's, the innkeeper. I don't need the mayor, because I smell like shit. Let's approach the innkeeper. Eric's also approaches the counter, welcoming you with a wide smile. Did someone contact you about work for me? Very much so. Very much so. Ask for Timo. She's usually at the crate just outside the southern wall doing laundry. She wants to find herself a husband. There's no much in it for you unless you'll be here for the marriage rights, but it'll make her happier. I do need a room, my good fellow. Eric's, by the way, seems to be the husband of Theus, the mayor. The mayor. Sorry, vocal. Stretch my throat. Sure thing, he nods. My kids keep it cleaner than you'd find in the city. Just tell me when you're ready. Thanks. I need to sleep. It's late. Wait, actually, let's talk to the mayor first. Let's see what she has to say. I asked a guard to look for the mayor. Thayer spares you but the harsh glance. Yes? She's waiting for me to learn more about the raids of the north. She doesn't trust me enough to give me a job. And I can bring her news about the other parts of the peninsula, but let's see what I can bring her. Alright, here we go. Now, we have to tell her more news, rumors, so that she trusts us. The thing is that I think it's worth it for us to make her trust us because we need her to know what's going on. How do you tell what time it is? The middle thing? Yes, this thing right here, the clock. So for context, I have only 40 days to figure out my main quest, which is get Howler's Dell and the surrounding villages to agree to a trade contract with the main capital city, Hovlevin. However, I also have other mini quests that are also important to my role. For instance, I need to figure out what happened to the previous Roadwarden, which is who we are. We will travel the roads and keep things safe and unite the people. The previous one disappeared, and that's also one of our main quests. We have a number of side quests, all of them that we need to do as well, that we can do, that I want to do. Traveling around takes time, doing actions takes time. For instance, if I wanted to travel to the Pelt of the North, it would take me roughly 2 hours from here, 2.5 hours. Every day in the morning, it takes me about an hour and a half to get ready, so every day is roughly 14.5 hours, give or take, depending on how I sleep and where I sleep, how my character wakes up, what happens during the night, a whole bunch of factors. But this, during nighttime, is most dangerous. All the monsters start to come alive, the really dangerous ones, the goblins. During the day, it's just beasts. During the night, it's much worse. Undead, demons, beasts of untold horror. Last time, when I slept at the Pelt of the North and nighttime came, a large beast tried to attack the walls. It was as large as the wall climbing up it. And they killed it, but imagine if I wasn't behind safe walls surrounded by strong hunters. Nightfall is very dangerous here. Now, we need Thayers to trust us. Because Nightfall is so dangerous, we need a safe sort of operating base to work from. If you look at the map, Howler's Dell is in the center of everything in the west. Theoretically, Old Pagos would be, but the people of Old Pagos are sick. And now, why are they sick? The hermit told us about the east. The east is nature's domain. It is woodland. It is... the heart of the forest is here, where the druids live, okay? I think Old Pagos, past the gates, must have disturbed them. In some way, they must have disturbed them. And therefore, they pay the consequences because nature in this world is alive. To the west is a monastery, of which we have no hope of ever convincing them, as well as a marsh, a swamp, with a necromancer who raises zombies to the farm, which is actually a 5-head move. If I was a necromancer, I would raise a necromancer to contract them out to do programming, to then make money from 5 different companies at once. There's no telling that, there's no guarantee that I can use them for shelter either. So, again, there's nothing to my west. Howler's Dell is still the best choice. Pelt of the North is simply too far south when we had to travel all of this land. We need to get on a good side. I think it's time to give her the rumors that we know. The soldiers who came here in spring. This is Tulia, at her camp just outside of Hovlevin. This was where we started the game, actually. They came here in spring and were meant to find a good spot for a new outpost. She smiles widely. You don't say. Knowing that, I'll prepare a few very tempting suggestions for the officials. Remember, she needs these things to have a better hand during the negotiations for the trade contract with Hovlevin. That's why she's getting us to do this stuff. After she seals her lips, she still lets out a quiet chuckle. The squad that made camp at the southern crossroads is now nothing more than 2 people. They plan to return to Hovlevin before fall. Since they cleared that camp of the brigands, they went so quiet I almost forgot about them. She rubs her chin with her thumb. I'm surprised they've managed to stay alive till this day. Saying such an inexperienced group here shows that the officials misjudged this land. That's all I have to say. I keep thinking, surely city folk don't just eat wild game, salt fish, and groats. What animals do people breed in the nearby villages? Aha, here. Again, this is the coolest part of this game. Usually, with story-based games, there's very little interactivity, or the interactivity is limited to paths that you walk down, right? This game takes it a step further. This game allows you to do the world building through the interactivity itself. You check out Hovlivin. If we check out what we know about Hovlivin, it says nothing. Nothing about what they farm to eat. This is intentional. This choice that we're given, these options, this allows us to define what Hovlivin is. We can make our own world here. Our own world unique to our own playthrough. And again, just as a reminder, this is an Iron Man run. We will not redo our choices. The beauty of a story like this is that it is our own, and to redo the choices to get the quote-unquote best choice feels like we're gaming we're gaming the system. A good story has consequences, has tension, right? It has grief, it has loss, it has violence, it has anger. As well as other good things, it must have some sort of bad. Something bad. There must be bad to the good, okay? Now, what can we say about Hovlivin? They farm mostly ibexes. They do well in the hills. I can instead say that there's a lot of mufflins, sheeps. I can say that the monks need their parchment. This is in line with what we said before. I said that I came from Hovlivin from a monastery. I defined that Hovlivin has a monastery of monks. And so this would actually fit with that same sort of train of thought. I could instead be more indecisive, it seems like. It depends. Mostly pond, fish, and fowl, but some can afford to buy boars. I could also say there's barely any meat, so people decide to raise crickets and rats. I could also say that we're more of a mercantile place, where whatever people can buy, I guess. I don't eat animals when I can avoid it. The last option seems to be a bit of a mix of defining us, as well as defining the world. The thing is that I don't necessarily think that that's necessarily a bad choice. I think that that's like an interesting angle. Sorry, I'm very gassy. For a character to go with, right? We're a pagan. We need to earn the trust of the nature here, the forest, because the nature here is the strongest force here. The people happen to live in it, but as we've seen from the ruined village, nature at any time can strike back. It can ruin you. A once prosperous village now abandoned and full of debris. All life ceased to exist. I'm gonna go with this. Whatever people can buy, I guess. I don't eat animals when I can avoid it. Oh, Stick. I believe you, but just indulge me. This thing about the city takes me back to the days when my bones were still strong. Fine. Then how about this? Continuing on with what we said before about the monastery and the presence of monks, there's a lot of mufflins. The monks need their parchment. Oh, that's terrible. You catch a hint of annoyance in our laughter. Our livestock won't sell well, but that's fine. It's hard to keep the number of lambs high. We need to sacrifice a field to raise a new flock. Still no news this year. She doesn't trust us much. And we also now know that her stuff here, of course, she raises goats and stuff. Thank you for your time. Now we go to bed. 2? So, just like the pelt to the north, we must pay to sleep. Now, we're kinda demolished. We smell like shit. There's monkey poop on us. We barely survived going through that eastern trail. We're never gonna go back there maybe, but we also have no money. Sleeping on the floor would be terrible though. Sleeping on a mufflin pelt. A sheep pelt. There's a lot of noise outside. You can sense a heavy, unpleasant smell coming from the cauldron. His fur is fluffy and you cover yourself with your blanket. This is the worst option. We have nothing to our name. We need to recover, okay? We can always get more money by gambling at the Pelts of the North. We can bring stuff back and forth. I say we sleep in the room. Your own room with a comfy bed, a locked door, and a lot of space. You also get a large breakfast, a wash tub with water and soap, and cleaning for your shoes and underwear. Let me rent this, my good fellow, for 2 dragon bones. The sounds of rain wake you up briefly. Before you return to sleep, you think about your plans. Riding in the mud is difficult. Yogi will have a rough time, especially on the unpaved ground. Maybe a good day to take a break and an inn. Ah, crap. Your first sleep ends, but your usual 1-hour break is instantly disrupted by noise. You stand up, walk up to the window, see the reason for the commotion. A group of workers is just outside the inn, drinking and laughing. Eric's the innkeeper is also among them. You could join them, but if you do so, you won't get a good sleep tonight. After such a long day, you may end up exhausted. I have 2 options. I can say I just want to rest, or I can show them that I'm not an outsider. I can sacrifice a bit of sleep. Again, we're a Roadwarden. Our job is to unite these villages together and patrol the roads and keep it safe. We are the next best thing to a courier. We are a fighter. We are a defender of these lands. And I need the trust of these villagers if I'm ever going to do my job. I depend on these people just as much as they depend on me to connect them to the outside world. It's an opportunity to show them that I'm not an outsider. I can sacrifice a bit of sleep. You lose track of time, so about the smells of old ale and cold roast lamb. The excuse for having these celebrations is the recent birth, the very same that was occurring when you arrived at the village. The young mother is exhausted and the first one to leave, but more than 10 people stay, poking at the party with kind-hearted jokes. Use the next week the best you can, says one of them. No sleep for you after that. You may be a stranger, but your presence is welcomed with joy. The small talk is just as engaging as you'd expect from people who've already slept for 3 to 4 hours today. But there's something pleasant about them sharing their parenthood stories and plans for the future. The humming of Howler's Creek and the lights in the dark make you feel as if you belong here, and that's a delightful illusion, especially in a group of strangers. At one point, you ask about your own journeys, though you prefer to keep most of them to yourself. One of the hunters encourages you strongly to travel to creeks. They're a fun bunch, you say. They love to meet new people, but they're ready to wake up with a spinning head. I'm one of the first people to get back to bed. That was totally worth it, right? We need to show the people that they can trust us. And look, we may be somewhat tired, but still, we at least get food, and we smell better, and we're still armored. You spend the night in peace, in a clean bed, with a tightly shut window and a warm blanket. In the morning, you find a stool placed by your bed, covered with fresh rye bread, a sausage, a bowl of berries, and a mug of malty beer. Once you get dressed, you go downstairs. Once you get dressed and go downstairs, a young boy who's covered in mud and speaks unusually loud and enthusiastically mentions that Yogi has already been brushed and watered. You nod, but he runs outside without noticing it. The innkeeper is sitting near the door, from time to time carrying out another bowl without a stew or gruel. Theus is nowhere to be seen. I approached Eric's, the innkeeper. Eric's also approaches the counter, welcoming you with a wide smile. Thanks. Bye. I leave the square. Now, we have a few objectives for today. We know that Timos has a job for us. We can go back to the Pelt to the north and make at least 3 to 4 coins every time we gamble. We're a gambling god, okay? We know how to gamble well. If you check our character sheet, for instance, our gambling every day is getting better and better. We have a small amount of experience, but we cheat the game with our knowledge, and they haven't figured it out yet. Wait, spared animals? I spared hardly any animals. Well then, I also have small combat experience. Hey, look, we're getting better and better. Let's find Timos. I leave the square. You're wandering through the village. A group of laughing villagers are chasing after a runaway hog. 3 drunken youngsters are having something between a conversation and a mumbling exchange of jokes. I can go to the tailor, the main square, or I can look for Timo, the washwoman. Before you reach the gates, you find 3 washwomen who are walking down the path, chatting loudly. The wet hair in their arms and legs shines, contrasting the mud on their feet. Some of them wear silk shirts. All have their heads wrapped in kerchiefs. You know from the city how hard and sometimes dangerous their job can get. You glance over their laundry baskets filled with clothes and buckets of urine. Once they notice you, one of them puts her things next to a fence and tells the others to go ahead without her. Her companions giggle, but loyally leave the 2 of you alone. I was so hoping to speak with a vague traveler. She starts and looks away. Whenever she speaks, she's both very direct and distracted, struggling to explain her plans. After a brief conversation, you try to sum it all up. So you seek a man who'd agree to take part in the marriage rites of your druids. She nods energetically, but then freezes. She's tanned from work, but her face is young and smooth, and since her hair is hidden, her bright hazel eyes keep drawing your attention. Oh, nay, just any man, she interrupts you angrily. Someone who stays in the sun and works hard for us and our kids. You ask if she has any children already. And after another minute of her awkward explanations, you take a guess that she doesn't. You ask if it would make a difference for her to move to a different village. We live good lives here, safe and plentiful. I'd rather stay, but I could leave with a safe convoy. See you soon. We've also got a new quest. If you saw on the top left, notifications pop up with like stuff. You can hover over it to see. I didn't hover over it in time because I was reading. We can now do matchmaking. The youth of the peninsula could use help with starting families at other settlements. I ask around, learn if anyone seeks a match for the approaching spring. Timo from Howler's Dell looks for a hard-working man who'd like to marry her according to the traditions of our ancestors, and either move in with her or take her to a new home. Hard-working people. Now, I know 2 men. One at the gate, which would be very, very funny. One at the Pelt of the North, which is a lot better. They work hard, They know the value of hard work, and they know how to live life, but also work hard. Party hard, work hard. Know what I'm saying? See you soon. You're wandering through the village. A group of older people are gossiping with excitement while they grind grains with millstones. A group of children covered in mud gathers by your mountain and argued loudly about what's better. Horses or donkeys? There's literally one answer. What? It's horses. What? I travel. Now, we can look around a bit, and we can also head west after. But first... Oh, it's muddy though. The muddy road slows you down. Oh crap. We have 14 hours though, so we should be okay. I don't necessarily want to rest today, like in town. Although maybe I should, because I am kind of weak. Because resting implies a waste of time. We don't really have much time. We don't really have much discovered. We know that the east is bad, but not much else. Okay? If we go to the ruins, we can catch some fish with a fish trap that we laid out there last time. Then we go to the Pelt to the north and see who wants to be the new wonderful groom. I say go to the ruins. Now, I can't stay here for too long, obviously, because we're going to vomit, lose our food. Let's see if the fish trap had any luck. I caught 2 fish. Yo. You pull the rope and see 2 flopping fish inside. You prepare your axe and open the lid and reach for the catch. You stun the animals one by one with 2 careful blows on top of their heads, and then finish them off with a knife, cutting underneath the gill plates. You spend another minute or 2 bleeding out the fish in the stream, then cover them with a waxed linen sheet. Sheet them soon before they spoil. I step away. I can now take the fish trap back. I think it's worth it because now it's starting to get further and further away from the Pelt to the north. I take it back. You shake the basket, expecting it will get dry during your ride, then attach it to your saddle. I step away. No. I want to travel over to the Pelt to the north and see if maybe Pyros finally has a way to move on, and maybe who wants to marry that person there. I also need dragons, the currency of this world, cut from the dragon bones. Coins cut from dragon bones. I need money. The guard ignores your arrival. As you ride in, the other hunters are training with wooden swords and blunt axes in the courtyard. You hear the sounds of work coming from the armorer's workshop, of which we have no need of their work. And I approach the guards. The guards greet you with polite nods or a casual hello. When Dal gets close to you with a smile, the brown boy follows the steps. What brings you to us? Oh, we have more options. Look. We have the usual, right? Of being able to play some dice. We also have a new one. I met Quintus, the one who trained with your team. He may need your help. If you have coin, I could throw some dice. Surely. Well, we were doing it the right way. All 10 rounds, so it's going to take us half an hour or so. 4 players, each one bets a coin. The winner takes all. Still in? I'm ready when you are. I'm scamming you! BRB, I have to go to the washroom, sorry. I'll be back in 20 seconds. Okay, back. Time goes by filled with light-hearted jokes and chit-chat. During the final round, you get ahead of everyone, and the spectators playfully comment on your moves. The winner takes all. 3 dragons are placed on the table, and you put them into your pouch quickly. The table and chairs are moved back into the building, and Dala thanks you for playing. Is there anything you need? Now I met Quintus, the one who trained with your team. He may need your help. You explain the difficult situation he finds himself in, putting emphasis on his wounds and food issues. Listening to your conversation, the nearby guards surround you, forming a circle together with the boar, and ask you if Quintus is in one piece. Your tale causes the tension to give way to jokes. He's so scared of the wrath of the herds, he'll sooner eat his bloody crossbow than learn how to use it, says one of the older women. Oops. Let's give the poor guy a break. Dal interrupts, which is not welcomed by a one-eyed man who comments that he's not even higher. After another minute, she grins at you. Well, thanks for telling us. We'll change some plans and get in touch with them during our next trip. Come on, not that. The same man chips in, but quiets down under the redhead's stare. We saved them. We may have just saved them here on their next trip. Because the next trip, they go out hunting for pelts, right? So we may have just saved a man without ever having to feed him. We're a goddamn genius. Now, do they trust me enough to tell me about wild creatures? $12. See, the price is going down. Last time, when they didn't trust me enough, it costed $14. Now it costs $12. Every day that I steal their money from them, they trust me more. Why? I don't know. But it's just like a bank, right? The bank steals your money, but we still trust them more every day. About the goblins, shoot, the price is $10. And again, we have $4 now. 4 dragons, sorry. We've effectively quadrupled our funds. Subscribe now to learn how to quadruple your net worth. I walk away. Just a moment. She runs in front of you, cutting your way with her wide grin. Want us to help out? I spoke with our boss, and I kind of need a rider. What do you need? Well, we could use another pair of hands here, someone who knows their way around the woods. You start to explain that you'd rather stick to the saddle, but you waves it off. So help me find a better soul. There are two people I've heard of who'd like to join us. Erastos from Howler's Dell, and Cassia from Gilded Rocks. She rubs the side of her board and pushes it away gently, as if she's asking a child to play by itself for a few moments. The thing is, we already have hunters who used to live in these places, and they told me they ain't all too eager to welcome them here. I'd like to speak with them both and to ask the folks from the tribes about them. Before I make a decision whom I should invite, I need to be sure they can handle a job. Now, we have a number of options here. For instance, we can ask, what's in it for me? I can say, why not hire Quintus, which I do want to ask. What about Erastos, and what about Cassia? And also, any tips on how to handle this? Why not hire Quintus? Your question sparks playful comments from her companions. Oh, he's a great friend, she admits, but he can't be trusted with more delicate tasks. When possible, we'd rather avoid using muscles alone. What matters the most is getting out of trouble with as few scratches as possible. Who's this Erastos? A trapper. A few months ago, he told a passing-by caravan he wants to leave his home and asked them to bring us his message. When his past neighbors told me he remembers Erastos as a weak, quiet boy. I ain't sure he knows how to fight, but we'd rather use traps anyway. So, we've never been to the Gale Peaks, okay? Or the Gale Bridges, the Gale Breaks, Gale Rocks. We've never been to the Gale Rocks. We can easily reach Erastos very easily, very, very easily. I think he's the horse guy. Wait, he's the horse guy, isn't he? No, maybe he is, but we've never met him. So it could be the fastest solution, but let's see about Cassia. Tell me about Cassia. She mentioned to Astadia and she'd like to come here. She's a god, but I've heard she's more of a talker than a fighter. Gilded Rocks is so far away, I'd really prefer not to travel there. But if she's the better choice, I may have no other option. What's in it for me? Coins, duh, she giggles. How about 5? Oh! Yo, 5 coins? I'll give you a few more if you amaze me with all the news you bring. Any tips on how to handle this? She glances at the other guards, and the one finally with a fancily braided beard clears his throat. Ask as many people as you can. In small villages, you can never know who sleeps with whom. Oh my god, he's right. It's like incest all the way down. What the fuck? Think about it, right? If you're a small village and you never get someone new, right? At some point, everyone's your cousin, right? And you're just sleeping all around. Everybody's like a second cousin, then a third cousin, then the first cousin. It keeps going back and forth. Are we all just 50 cousins? Yeah. Yeah, somewhere, if we slept together, our child will be a homunculus. It'd have like 3 arms and like 5 eyes. Actually, it may be a better human. Huh. I'll tell you if I learn anything. You return to the courtyard. Hear the sounds of work coming from the armorer's workshop, of which we don't need. It's a good thing we came back here, actually, because I didn't know that there'd be a quest. It's also good, too, because it kind of wastes time, because, like, again, the roads are muddy, so we're slowed down. Let's see what Tulier's up to. Because we can't go too far, right? Tulia welcomes you with a smile. Is everything alright? You hear laughter. The soldiers are practicing with a bow, shooting at the target in some sort of game. The man is mocking his superior in a friendly manner. I have more questions. Yes? Thanks. Oh god. Imagine walking up to someone saying like, I have more questions, right? And then when they're like, go on, you go, thanks. You walk away. Oh god, it's you know what this is? This whole conversation was this. I have more questions. Yes? Thanks. You ready for the further journey? That's exactly what it is. It's just NPC stuff, dude. It's literally just NPC stuff. Now, let's get the hell out of here. We have nothing that we need. Let's go to Howler's Dell and learn about Erastos first. Though I guess on the way, we should check out the Ellis Cave again. Let's see if he has anything to say. Maybe he knows we went east. We have to waste time anyways, because today's kind of a wash. You hear the chilling roar of a dragon from the mountains. At least there's no avalanche. The old druid is resting on the bench and welcomes you with a new interest in his voice. Words of the help you've shown to my neighbors from Halliesdale have reached me, traveler. Good. Very good. I have two options. Sorry, gas. Why am I so gassy? What is going on? Dude, okay. Again, as humans, we need water and we need oxygen, right? But we produce gas, which then gets rid of the oxygen, and we produce pee, which gets rid of the water, okay? I'm sweating right now. I'm literally expelling everything that I need to survive. Why? Stop making gas. I'm always ready to do the right thing. Or, has one of those critters of yours brought you the news? I'm always ready to do the right thing. He vaguely grunts. Now, we're still trying to find out what his name is, okay? We don't know what to call him, and look, if I say I know how I should have addressed you or fix my mistake, it is an open-ended question. I can ask him anything. I can type anything here. I can say, fucker. He might get really mad, so let's not do that. Treebeard! You do not understand the sound of the forest? You're as deaf as these rocks. You want to build bridges, but for you they are just structures, owned and used by humans. Prove that you're ready to learn our customs and the bridge will grow on its own. I'm trying to learn more about the trapper, Rastos. You sure he's a trapper still? His tone's inquisitive. I spoke with him in this very place near so long ago, and he was convinced he's going to take a lighter craft. Now, you may notice that I don't remember his name. I actually have no clue what his name is, or his voice. I don't remember his voice at all, okay? You're gonna have to deal with this. Unless while I'm editing, I'll try to remember the voices, but it's been a while since I played this. Chocolate Chip Mint says, the most recent common ancestor shared between all humans alive today likely lived about 3,000 years ago, according to one mathematical model designed by a professor at Yale University. We assume 25 years per generation, and we could find the common ancestor of all humans about 125 generations back in the collective family trees. So we're 1/25th cousins. We're 1/25th cousins. Holy shit. Huh. What do you know? Hello, my 1/25th cousin. We're all cousins here. We're all cousins. Okay? It's cousins all the way down. My 1/25th cousin. I show him the snake bait. What can you tell me about this? He needs only a breath to recognize it. It's his snake bait. What is his voice? He leans a bit closer. He is old. Old, experienced, wizened. Except for Sweet Destination, she ain't no cousin of mine. True. She is the result of two first cousins. I'm sorry. We know this person, IRL. Future me, cut that from the video. 'Tis nae that rare, and nae many people need it. You learn that it's infamous for its alleged power to lure serpents and saurians. And saurians? Which is soon in moderation, it makes the shell more responsive to stimuli. It makes periods of sleeplessness easier to bear. Juice from a single leaf is enough to induce hallucinations, an addicting sense of dream-like euphoria. Using a large dose at once, or small doses too often, leads to frailty, or death. I'm looking for a job. I believe your goodwill, and I'm in need of your help. Yes! We've earned his trust to finally have a job. He gestures for you to fall into a pond. 'Tis near a dangerous task, but one that I can near complete by myself. In my spells, I know enough to ask the animals to fetch it for me. He speaks very slowly. At the northern coast, you'll find Gale Rocks, a village of fishes. One of them is in my debt, and I want you to collect what's mine. You want to ask him about this debt, but he doesn't look at you. He points at a shiny, large fish with orange and golden scales that's swimming just nearby. This gorgeous creature is an empress carp, one of the few animals that thrive both in the seas and the lakes. I wait for him to look at me. Again, what we know about this man is that he demands respect. He demands respect as a courtesy, as a common courtesy. You give him respect, you give him time, you give him proper treatment, and you respect nature and the world around us and the people around us. If you live for the people, he will live for you. Right? We need to listen to the man and wait for him to look at us. We need to let him dictate the pace. New entry, Empress Carp. You don't know where the man found the large worm that he now drops in the water, feeding his pet. Go to that place and find Photios. He's a young father, an ocean folk with scars on his neck, which he will nae hide. Ask for a male Empress Carp, but be aware, I need it alive so it can mate with the one I have. Oh no, this may be impossible then. He stands up and approaches you. I do not sleep on dragon bones, but there's pneuma in my blood. I'll use some of it to heal your wounds, though no more than once. That's fair. I can either say I agree, or traveling with a live fish isn't going to be easy. I can say I can't promise I'll do it right away. If let's not belie our hints of doubt, let's simply say I agree. I'm glad. The happiest carp we have keeps our waters clean of leeches as much as it can. One more would help us greatly. Now, we're not allowed to do anything really here. And we don't know how to call them, that's all we have. But I'm glad we came back to travel these lands, the safer lands. While there's mud and from the rain before, we now have so many different side quests for us to actually go with. Let's check out the Beholder. You reach the crossroads. The tree is perfectly still and hasn't changed a bit since you first saw it. You hear the sound of a small creature jumping into the water. Again, just like the old man, if we approach the altar, we can figure out what to sacrifice to it. But we don't know. Again, it's an open-ended choice, so we have no clue what to do. Where's my sacrifice, for instance? I don't know. Fish. You put a fish on the altar. It's now a bit dirty. I try something else. I make an offering. A jar of troll urine. You either can't do that, or don't possess such an item. I have the item. Troll urine. You put a jar of troll's urine on the altar, but nothing happens. Yogi. Yogi is too large. What do I offer? A lantern. Lantern. Put a lantern on the altar, but nothing happens. I make an offering. We're gonna try everything. My gambeson. Fish trap. Put a fish trap on the altar, but nothing happens. My gambeson. Put your armor on the altar, but nothing happens. My axe. Put your weapon on the altar, but nothing happens. We could put some pouches with coins. I don't know, coins. Oops. Misspelled. Sorry. Coins. Put both your pouch and the coins on the altar, but nothing happens. What about my rations? Place any type of food you can find in your sacks on the nearby plants, but none of them seem to make any difference. Trying to make an offering. Now, the old man knows what to make an offering of, and he did say it was a sacrifice. So maybe blood. Oh! It is a sacrifice! I knew it! I make a slight cut in the palm of my hand. It will only hurt a little. Yes! We figured it out! Yes! Your blood spills on the altar and sticks into it before it gets to the edge. The tree greets your offering with the sound of some moving, stretching branches. So, last time the old man said that to offer something to the beholder, it requires a painful sacrifice. And I was like, what's a painful sacrifice? Either something you love or the pain of yourself, right? This is interesting. So now we give them blood. Maybe it grows with the blood, because look, it greets our offering with the sound of moving and stretching branches. They stretch, they get larger and longer. Very interesting. You try to ignore the pain and prepare water and bandages to take care of the wound. I walk away. I take a closer look at the roots. You kneel in front of the one that's lying on the shore. It's brown and covered with hair that resembles that on your arm. You touch it. It's moist, soft, and warmer than you expect. I do something with it. Bite. The scent of the decaying wall is now especially repellent. You bite into the warm root and start chewing it, but with no result. It's flexible and stretchy. You can't hurt it with something so blunt. Blood. Either you can't do that, or I don't understand you. Cut? Pull your knife, then stop in place. You can't tell what the result of wounding the tree would be, but you doubt your ancestors would approve of it. True. Let's spare it, sorry. I leave. Let's go to the old man. Maybe he'll be like, hey, good job, you figured it out. I know about the tree. Oh, never mind. A trail of black ants is crossing the road carrying leaves, dried blades of grass, and little sticks. The old man is sitting on the wooden stool between the garden beds, weeding. The torn plants are resting in a small basket. What do you need, traveler? Nothing. Sorry. Back to Howler's Dell. It's mostly nighttime anyway, so we now know that the tree needs blood. So every time that we come back and we have extra vitality, we can try to sacrifice it to the tree and see what happens. You ride through the open gates and then carefully dismount. Some of the locals greet you politely, but they keep their distance. Your clothes, torn and worn, make you look like a vagabond. I was meant to speak with Aristos for Dalit. You ask an archeress if she could point you to the trapper, and she directs you beyond the walls to the edge of the northern pasturage. Gas. Why am I so gassy? All I had was coffee. There, next to the creek, a lone wanderer examines simple box traps. They're placed every few steps, and judging by the man's empty sack, so far all of them have turned out to be empty. That's not good. Maybe he's not that good then. Hearing your steps, the man sends you a glance, but soon returns to his task. In the city, he'd barely be seen as an adult. His facial hair is sparse and light, and he's shorter and slimmer than most women in his tribe. His elegant dark blue tunic suits his tan skin. The long dagger he's carrying has a curved handle. He's crouching, looking toward the other bank and playing with blades of grass. Dalit heard you're interested in heading south. He turns his head only slightly, as if it's easier than raising his voice, but he still avoids looking at you. She did. Are you taking me there? Wait, sorry. His voice is surprisingly deep, adding to his ears. Oh, she did. Are you taking me there? 4 options. What are you going to bring to the table? Will he miss home? He survive in the woods? And I can just walk away. That's all I want to ask you about. Imagine, okay? Imagine, okay, this is an NPC conversation. This is an NPC conversation. She did. Are you taking me there? I walk away. That's all I wanted to ask you about. It's literally just an NPC conversation. Like, why are these options available? It's so funny to me that this exists. What are you going to bring to the table? He waves the boxes. You see, caught her here yesterday. Now in a box, in a snare. Looking cut and dress belts, too. You wait for a bit longer, but he adds nothing more. Won't you miss home? He drops the grass on the ground, stands up, and wipes his hands against his pants. Nah, no one to talk to. Can you survive in the woods? He gives you a puzzled look. Why would I? I'll go with the group, dig holes, sharpen sticks. 'Tis no like I'm going to put anyone in danger. Oh, this job is much more difficult than you think. His voice grows frustrated. All hunters act as if they're masters of the woods, but they die all the time. He grabs the nearest box. One of the walls turns out to be loose, so he adjusts it quickly and starts to wander away. Just give me a chance to do what you want, and I'll do it. I can go any day, any hour. I guess that's that. You're wandering through the village. Oh. Wait, okay, so again, these little, like, the descriptions, they change, but they're, like, from a set of descriptions they're sort of, like, predefined, and it just cycles through them. For instance, the first one we've seen, chasing after a running hog. The second one we haven't. A field worker walks by you, coughing loudly as he tries to open his wallet skin. Now, we have 3 hours left. I think it's good to tell the guard, what's his name again? Gustav? Oh, I forget his name. I'm so bad with names. That the hunters of the Pelt of the North are thinking about him. Then we go back and sleep because the day is done, and we end this game because my throat is getting tired, and it's time to go play Zelda. So, there's fresh blood on the road, but the trail leads into the deep bushes. Quintus is sitting on the wall, cleaning his crossbow. What do you want? Have you ever met Aristos? Nah. I remember him trading with my neighbors once or twice, but I never spoke with him. A bit of a wimp. Okay, we go back to Hallow's Dell. And it's nighttime. Now, this is where we end it, because my throat is tired and I do want to play some Zelda. So let's just go to sleep first. We go to the main square. Hey, the trader's here. Haha. You approach the inn. It's getting darker, but not much colder. More than a dozen locals are gathered at or by the tables, playing dice or other games, drinking, eating supper, or simply chatting. The innkeeper is standing behind his counter, filling mugs with beer or buttermilk, while his daughter is cleaning the tables with a wet cloth and carrying around a bucket of stream water. Thais is nowhere to be seen. The trader is packing his goods, though with no rush. He's talking with a man who's sewing sacks on a nearby stool. Now, Akakios, the traitor, last time we did a quest for him, okay? We did a quest where he needed a potion for his daughter. We also learned about his crime. In this village, some crimes carry with them the greatest penalties. He's never allowed to remarry because he used to beat his wife. His daughter doesn't speak to him, but his daughter wishes to become a hunter in the forest, and so he got the potion for her. We extorted him because he's a wife beater, and I like to extort criminals. Because why not? It's their fault, not mine. But I do need to trade with him for stuff, potentially. When Akakios knows his arrival, he tells the other villagers to give you some time in private. Any good news? Did you have any issues with Erastos? Ah, John Update, Recruit Hunter. I got some information. He wags his long finger. What do you mean? You broke something again? What now? He wants me to pay you back. Tell him to fix it on his own and grab him and drag him here. Hey, I know we exploited you, but I kinda need something from you, so let's do business. Exactly. That's the exact mindset to have, right? We extort him. Listen, he's a businessman. He's a criminal. He has no rights in my eyes. You wait for a few moments, not sure if you should ask how many times such a thing has happened before. His breath is heavy. What do you have for sale? Anything new? Nothing new. I bring goods to sell. Surprise me. I got raw fish. Why are you putting it here? You want to cook it? Take it to Eric's there. He nods towards the innkeeper's counter. I see. Sorry. Nothing for now. I walk away. Let's talk to Theus. Let's see what she knows about Erastos. The guard informs you that she needs to look for her, so you sit down on the bench and wait for what feels like an eternity. When Theus joins you, she apologizes for the wait, though her voice and eyes are harsh. I have a few questions about Erastos. She makes an odd grimace, trying to smile while expressing confusion. I doubt there's much more to say here. He's just a trapper, and not the best one. Thank you for your time. So, we now know that Erastos is not the best choice for them. I may need to find the person Claudia in the Gale Rocks for the hunters at Pelt to the north. Erastos is the easy choice, but he's not the best choice for them. And I want the best choice for them if I'm trying to help them. I don't want them to die. The Pelt to the north is a very important stop because... Do you notice the day counter? 36 days before autumn. When the time is up, we're gonna have to go back to Hovlevin, which is south of Tulia's camp. We're gonna have to pass through the Pelt of the North, which may be our only stop left, the only safe stop. A massive inn surrounded by a wall. It's the only shelter near there. So we do have to be careful about making sure that they stay alive. So we need to make sure that they have the best people for their hunters. I approach Eric's, the innkeeper. Eric's also approaches the counter, welcoming you with a wide smile. I've got another fish to sell. Good. How many do you have? I can give you one healthy meal for each one. Two. I have two, my good fellow. He takes your fish inside, making quite a bit of a noise once there. In return, he's holding two small packages, wrapped in a wax cloth, which could be somewhat waterproof. Did you have a chance to talk with Erastos lately? His eyes get gentle. Ah, boy, kid. Is he in trouble again? You mentioned that someone wants to offer him a job, but the innkeeper lets out a sigh and leans against the counter. Maybe that's for the better. Lately, he's been struggling around here. While he's far from eager to share the details, one part in particular catches your attention. That's the thing with bad affection, you say. My wife was clear he ought to stay away from her daughters until both him and they pass 20, but 'tis easier said than done. What? Wait. Oh no, dude. I think he's a... Wait. Again. He looks like a young kid, but he's not, right? His deep voice tells how old he actually is. Their daughters haven't even passed 20 yet. So, what's happening? What's going on here? Bad affection? Is he... He's not a pedophile, is he? That's not good. I don't know if I want to send him to the hunters. He should be here where they have laws. He shouldn't be with the hunters where they need help. Thanks. You're in front of the 8 Pale Inn. Now, we're gonna sleep and call it a day. We're gonna call it a play session for Roadwarden as well, and then I'll BRB after, because we're gonna play some Zelda. I sleep. Again, always sleep in a room. We can always gamble for more. Money is easy to come by. We just have to take advantage of the opportunity. Like rent. Also because my character is like ruined. Like absolutely ruined. It's a calm, warm night. As your first sleep ends, you stretch out to prepare yourself for an active hour or two. It's time to take care of some things that must be done at least once every few nights, though they are a bit more challenging than your nightly routine. Now, this concept of 2 sleeps is an ancient concept. Sociologists theorize that humans used to have this concept of 2 sleeps back before we had electrical lights that could be on at any moment during the industrial era. The concept is as follows. You may notice that sometimes when you wake up in the middle of the night after 4 or 5 hours of sleep and you fall back asleep, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting more tired or anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't gotten a full sleep. They theorized that back then, the idea of 2 sleeps was a very common thing. People would wake up in the middle of the night to do whatever that they did during the night. A lot of people would write, a lot of people would read, a lot of people would just enjoy under candlelight. Candlelight allows us to take advantage of the time. They also theorized that was a good time for a lot of sharing the bed, so to speak. That's where a lot of the action happened, apparently. There's also a time sometimes to go out and meet with your neighbors to talk with them a little before finally going back to bed until daylight broke. It's a very ancient concept, and it's very interesting to see that being used here. We're going to use this hour to see what we can do, of which I have one choice only. It's time to check on my herbs and other ingredients. I get rid of the plants that fail to dry out, throw away anything that's rotten, and wash my jars before I fill them up again. You spend the night in peace, in a clean bed with a tightly shut window and a warm blanket. In the morning, you find a stool placed by your bed, covered with baked artichokes with a weird but tasty roasted lizard, and a few slices of cheese. Once you get dressed and go downstairs, a young boy who's covered in mud and speaks unusually loud and enthusiastically mentions that Yogi has already been brushed and watered. You nod, but he runs outside without noticing it. The innkeeper is sitting near the door, from time to time carrying out another bowl with either stew or gruel. Theirs is nowhere to be seen. Now, we're gonna end it here for Roadwarden. This is not the end of today, though. We're still gonna stream because I have something to show you guys for Zelda. I have a new plan in mind. But this is it for this session of Roadwarden. As always, you can catch the VOD of this on the secondary channel. And the main channel, this weekend, is gonna get edited videos of playthroughs of this game that are much more cut down. Of a lot of the games that I've been playing, really. That are much more cut down. At least the ones that I wanted to save and edit for the main channel, okay? So keep an eye out for that as well. I'll BRB as I get things ready for the next game because I have to use the washroom and do some of the things, okay? So I'll be right back very, very quickly for about 10 minutes or so, okay? When I'm back, we're gonna start up some more Tears of the Kingdom. In the meantime, I'm gonna leave you with a high-quality version of my video that I made. You may be wondering, what's a video? Stick. What video are you talking about?